Y'all don't hear us. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen. Pull up a seat and motherfucking listen.
Pack your bag, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our grind, we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave. Hey.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on.
You landed on the tarmac, fresh off the boat. Talking about y'all building nothing, man, you choking on the note. My ancestors the reason that this country even breathes. Picked the cotton, built the White House, planted the seed. Jim Crow laws, redlined the map, we was the target. You think that struggle's a costume, man, you can't mark it. We fought the wars, we bled the blood, we died for our future's chance. And you come here and give our legacy a side eye while throwing shade on the guard. While you benefit from doors we kicked down with our last breath. Now you spit on the architects who stared down death. Disrespectful, that's disrespectful. Ungrateful, a slap in the face, the only people who gave a fuck. So let me show your ungrateful ass to the right place.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
Talking crazy on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
This our ground and we outside on it. While y'all fools on the outside looking, y'all show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Y'all don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, take your digits, make it just fly on. Passport, the visa, the privilege to be here. Cause my grandma did march for y'all, so disappear from our land. You cosplaying our pain. Think it's a trend you can borrow, but you ain't inherit the ghosts of our sorrow. We the foundation, the bedrock, the soil, and the root. You not no branch on our tree, and unproductive people always cosplaying me.
Talking about we ain't do nothing, you lost your mind. We built this from nothing, time after time.
From the beginning to now, we been the backbone and muscle. Why you look down on the struggle and cause a whole tussle? That energy's foul with disgusting, it's whack. So let's make it clear, there's no turning back.
This land is paid for in full.
In blood, sweat, and tears, and dreams deferred.
You don't get to come into a house we built from the dirt and telling Black America y'all ain't worth nothing. That's a violation, facts.
Pack your bags, time to go home.
It's our soil on our soil where our blood and bones grown.
Show respect, this our ground, y'all just tenants on a leash.
Or get the step.
Show no respect to Black America, so leave.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
Get the hell up out of America, taking your business, I can just like on.
Don't get it, so it's time to go home.
America, taking your business, I can just like on.
Yeah, fly little birdies.
Fly on back to where you came from.
This ain't for you. This soil is sacred.
We said what we said.
It's time
For y'all to go home. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. So fly a little birdies fly. Fly far, far away from here. Bye bye, little birds. They thought we forgot, but we forget. This one's for the roots. We built this land from dust and tears, 400 years, and we still here. They write new rules, but they don't see. Every freedom they got came off you and me. We planted seeds, took the bloom, we lit the flame. They left the room, but we're back now, know the skies. The spirits woke, we realize all we want is what we earn. That sweat and blood, yeah, that table turn. You can't buy culture, can't fake that vibe. This is our day, this is our ride. We happiness. Say it loud, say it strong. We the heartbeat that's been here all along. Foundational Black Americans, stand tall. We ain't begging for nothing, we built that all. Born from pain and grace, you can see the truth written in our face. We the soul, the sound, to fight the flame. Foundational Black Americans, say our name. They love our rhythm, but they dodge our blues. Use our voice when it fits their news. They take our sound, but not our scars. We the backbone, we the scars. Now the veil is gone, the mask is clear. We see the game, we know what's here. No more silence, no more lies. We lift that flag and watch it rise. Rise up. We the ones that made this nation breathe. Our veins are power, our roots are trees. We know worlds. It's rhythm and grace, and now we're reclaiming our rightful place. Can't copy, so by changing lanes, our story ain't done. We guard the gate, it's about survival. We FBA, say it proud, say it loud. The world dances on what we vow. Foundational Black Americans, still we stand, still we fight, still we demand. Every block, every song, we've been right here all along. The soul of a people strong and free. Foundational Black Americans. We the first, we the root, we the fire. Still rising, still here. Foundational Black American.
We set the tone and they copy the cadence. Dance to our drums and deny the foundation. Wear the style but don't honor the source. Smile in the crowd and you distance and force. Say you not us but you rap like we breathe. Take the rhythm, then fuse the receipts. I ain't mad, I'm just holding the glass. Show in the mirror, now answer it back. I ain't here to cancel nobody. Just keep it honest, keep it solid. If you eat from the table we built, don't act surprised when we guard it. Do you like that? Do you like that? When I flip your sound and I ride like that. Do you like that? Do you like that? Do you like that? Cause that's how it feel when you borrow my culture. It's not like we never
like always.
matter.
Mike Larry. Now this shit here. It's what I see it is. We're not fighting your battles. We're not carrying it. Your fear. We're not lending our history to people who erased us while we were here. Just cause you're born here, don't make you FBA. That makes you a citizen, learn the difference today. This is lineage, not a look you can wear, not a costume you borrow when it benefits you there. You used our culture like an access card, backstage pass, a straight facade, but now the mirror's in your face. No disguise, and you're uncomfortable looking truth in the eyes. We didn't leave our land to beg for a chance. We stayed, we fought, we took every advance. That's the separation, that's the line you cross. We paid the price, you learned the cost. You waving your flag on our soil, but fighting not to go back home. Waving your flag on our soil, building comfort on a foundation you didn't know. We waving our flag, red, black, and gold. Stood our ground, never sold. You waving your flag on our soil, but scared to build what you claim you love. Our humor, our style, the way we move, the smoothness, the sound, the things we prove. Music we birth, language we shape, innovation forged under constant escape. Warrior spirit means stay and defend, not flee your land and rewrite the end. You call it success, but don't confuse the two. Ease came after what we went through. You abandoned your land and called it strategy. You wave that flag loud, but won't return to build your legacy. That contradiction tells the story for you. You waving your flag on our soil, we're fighting not to go back home. We waving ours where we were forged, every inch earned, every brick known. We can't be deported, and that truth changes everything. We can't be deported, and that truth changes everything. We know who we are, and now we see who you are too. Just because y'all born here doesn't make you FBA at all. It makes you an American citizen. It's biologically impossible to be us because it's a lineage, not some damn costume you can just put on to look cool. You immigrants and immigrant Americans has used our culture as an access card, a backstage pass to our culture. Now y'all have to look in the mirror. Our sense of humor, the aesthetics, mannerisms, the style of dress, the smoothness, the creativity, our genres of music, innovativeness, our slang, our warrior spirit by staying on our homeland and fighting and not fleeing to somebody else's land to beg for a better life and shit on the very people who fought to have us there. That's who we are. And we know who the hell y'all are waving your flag on our soil and fighting to make sure y'all don't go back.
You can't leech off our culture anymore. Beat it!
Shit.
Mike Larry, man, you did it again. We really making history. Let's go.
Do you like that? Do you like that? Flip your sound, how you like that? Do you like that? Do you like that? Say it loud, don't walk it back. Do you like that? Do you like that? You grew up mimicking us, now y'all switch it up. Turn the carbon copies, y'all ain't black, what the fuck? It's funny y'all connecting to our culture like it's Wi-Fi. Surfing on our waves of our culture, no more agua. Still in my culture for all these years. Look how time flies, all these colonizers in disguise. Hate y'all still, hate us outside. Study doctor, vampires, it's the blood of our guilt. They copy the flavor, sip the juice, love the results, hate the truth. Who?
I got up here to
do you like that?
make my little meal and shit. I ate my little meal.
Do you like that?
Do what I could. I gotta go lay that down.
Do you like that? Flip your sound. How you like that?
I'm gonna be like,
Do you like that? Democratic shields, talking points, the road they fill. Fish and chips, agent on the mic, judging FBAs, but ain't you half white? Talking like you one of us, we need a proof face. The agent type with a prune face, like 50 and Jim, it's a cold game. Throwing stones cause we build our own lane. I'm joking, kinda, but I mean that. Smile calm, pressure intact. Y'all proud where y'all
y'all from? Where they flag, beat they drum. But when it's us, tone switch fast. Same pride, but it's too much. FBA pride, lineage solid. You can't put this on, can't try it on. Built here, stayed and fought. That's the difference. That's the car. Do you like that? Do you like that? Say it clear, don't twist the facts. Do you like that? Yeah. Do you like that? Do you like that? Point made. No edit. No care.
I can't eat shit.
You know, erasing history is something that you have to do when it comes to conquest, domination, and destroying a people. If people knew who they were, what they were, and what they were capable of in the past, they will understand what they have a possibility or a likelihood of doing in the future.
Foundational Black Americans, we've always had a culture of resistance. We cultivated a culture of resistance on this land, and we've been resisting ever since we've encountered European domination.
But nothing was really popping in Europe until the transatlantic slave trade, and that's where they amassed a lot of wealth.
One thing that I think is unique about our culture as far as how we resist, how we fight back is just the environment we were put in from day one. Being only 13% of the population, the white supremacists were very meticulous about keeping that population at a certain amount.
There was never a period when we did not resist the encroachment of the white man.
They have a natural behavior of authority no matter where they go. That's why they'll step up in front of us in the line at the store. We're not important. They don't even see us.
We've never been able to excel. We've never been able to relax. We've never been able to just be, which means that existence is resistance.
It must be something in our DNA, our historical background to when something doesn't sit right with us, especially spiritually, in our souls and in our spirit, we just say no.
We live resistance. You know, from the moment we're born, we're in resistance. And it's handed down generation to generation.
And so I think that cultural resistance is actually in our DNA, in our epigenetics, and then it blossoms out into the culture.
So there's almost nothing in America that we do, from song to dance to politics to the way we talk, the way we dress, having coded languages considered to be slang today. Everything about Black American culture is a form of resistance.
Of course, they want to always downplay our contributions to the global tapestry because they continue to act like our number one export in this country is not Black innovation.
Everyone understands that our resistance has been the cornerstone of what foundational Black Americans have always done. We are the life that breathes everything into this nation.
The further back you go, the further Black you go. It's just simple like that, brother.
Introducing the B1 Rolodex, the easiest way to search for and support FBA and B1 businesses. Hundreds of entries from the Black grassroots for the Black grassroots. Free to use, free to download, constantly updated. Trouble navigating the document? Try using the map version. Notice a business missing? Use this simple Google form to submit an FBA or B1 business. Also submit anti-Black businesses, which are now being collected in that last tab. Find resources, contact numbers, and much more using the second tab. All the info you need to start practicing group economics today. Go to blacktruthunited.com. That's blacktruthunited.com.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase. The air date of this episode is April 24th, 2026. Greetings, Lady Che. How are you this morning?
Man, I'm okay. I just have some stomach issues.
I can't hold no food down to save my life. And I got like this really ugly pain in my stomach. I went over there. I was at the computer. I made a little meal and I ate my little meal.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the show to start. And then I was like, I gotta go lay down on my bed. Not because I was tired, but just because my stomach started.
Yeah.
Just something simple.
Okay.
You know, like
all right. Mm-hmm.
a little soup, a little
Okay.
tuna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All righty. So therefore, not getting off topic, I sent some clips yesterday on Muhammad Ali's former wife, Kalia Ali, and I put it here in the chat that I find very interesting when they talk about quote unquote culture here, that Mr. Ali is not mentioned. I mean, you have Malcolm up there, you have Black Panthers up there, and Ali and those guys were contemporaries. And so, I was just curious on that, So anyway, I'm seeing here off in the comments is that has anybody seen Pam Bondi? Is because Trump fired her, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Deuce and a Quarter, how you be? DSB 225 is with us. Okay, it's always a pleasure to have him. We have time 18188. Huh?
Yeah, I'm not knowing. I really don't care about that broad. She did us a disservice too. They all do us a disservice. So
How so? How did she do us a disservice?
By taking up for the president.
Oh yeah, Pam Bondi, the hell with her. I don't give a damn about her. Yeah, but somebody has put it up there. Yeah, like where she at and stuff like that. Ain't nobody seen or heard from her. But regardless of the fact, she still got her pension, from being the Attorney General of Florida. She got her pension for being, the U.S. Attorney General. So she's got two pensions. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the way this crap is going on is getting more and more redundant with Trump in office. Okay, with idiots about his impeachment. He will not be impeached. It's because they don't have the votes for the impeachment, number one. And the key is not so much the impeachment, but the key is, how can they remove him from office, you see? But, he's bending the rules to his benefit. He's got all his ass kisses around him and stuff like that. And then what's up with that drunk Cash Patel?
I'm not knowing. I'm not knowing.
All righty. And let's see. Okay.
All right.
Let's
y'all hear me?
He's pinging, you know what I'm saying?
Stupid.
Yes, sir.
Streamyard's acting stupid this morning.
The computer's acting stupid.
Streamyard is acting stupid.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised. You know what I'm saying? Because look where the base at. You know what I mean?
You're coming in crackling, Shabaka. Like you were the other day.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Here, so they started that bullshit again. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me see something here.
While you're working out, I'm going to do the introduction. Greetings, Lady Che. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for Baka for tapping in. Shout out to DSB. Shout out to Time and Twin, who are in here early. And on this season 11, episode 33 of Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News, we'll be discussing several topics. The first topic is Cherfilus-McCormicc Resigns. Where's Her Haitian Support? Then a Latino police officer attacks and disrespects Black Americans, but then this happens. Black and Latino relations, history, tension, and the path to unity. Poetik Flakko and FD Signifier take shots at FBN and Tariq Nasheed. Untold Black massacres, they erased from every textbook. And Shamar Elkins, mentally ill or straight up evil. The Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced is based on the 50th anniversary of the founding of the original Blacc Panther Party for self-defense. It started on Blogtalk Radio back in 2016 and have been around for 11 seasons now. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced covers the Black experience from the beginning of time until 10 minutes ago. It is also a part of the Front Line campaign and has recently, within the last 2 years, moved from Blogtalk Radio to Streamyard. Please make sure y'all like and share the broadcast, family. Please join us on Streamyard, YouTube, Front Line Blacc News. The links to all of our channels are in the description, including Front Line Blacc News, Front Line Blacc News 2. Make sure you sub to Front Line Blacc News 2, just in case they try to take Front Line Blacc News down again. Then my personal page, Jesse Paris, aka Chan Chroma. That's where we stream all the city council meetings and local Denver events, Black events in Denver and Aurora. And then Lady Che's backup channel, Seduction Doll. Make sure you sub to that so she can start going live on that channel. And then her main channel, The Revolutionary Agenda. Make sure you sub to that. The RBA, The Revolutionary Agenda. And she should be dropping on RBA sometime this weekend. Then we got Shabaka's YouTube channel, Jeanette 1. Make sure you sub to that so Shabaka can start going live on YouTube. Then we got our cousin, our Lokester out the Bay Area, Jay Militant. Make sure you sub to his channel, What's Cracking TV with Jay Militant. Then we got our brother Kukizi out the Mile High. Make sure you sub to his channel, Kukizi 5100. Then we got our brother Breeze Omega out of Virginia, by way of New York. Make sure you sub to his channel as well, Breeze Omega on YouTube. He just surpassed 1,000 subscribers, so salute to Breeze. Then we got the Church of Black Power brother out of Watts, California, who's now in Houston, Texas. Make sure y'all sub to his channel. He's supposed to be interviewing me sometime this coming week, next week, hopefully. And he just surpassed 2,000 subscribers. He's fast approaching 3,000. I think he should be at 3,000 now. And then we got, last but not least, our brother Black Truth United, who's been on hiatus, but he did come up with the B1 Rolodex, which is a modern-day green book for FBA and B1 businesses. And the links to that are in the description. The links to the Rolodex itself is in the description. And the links to the Submit Your Business is also in the description, and I'm in there as well for my political work. Then we got Council the Congressional Black Caucus and create a foundational Black American caucus. Sign the petition. The link is in the description. And then we got it's Call to Action by Sister Brooke, my niece, or she called me her uncle. Make sure y'all hit that link and submit those letters for the Freedmen Fund. Then support Lady Chase GoFundMe. The link to that is also in the description. Donate to that if you haven't already. And then we got the 103-year-old elder who's on the verge of losing her home in South Central Los Angeles of almost 40 years. The link to her GoFundMe is also in the description. And last but certainly not least, support me, Jesse Paris, for House of Representatives in the state of Colorado for House District 8. And the link to the website is also in the description. Then we got copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. And I do not own the rights to the music. And if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else you think you understand will only confuse you. In all 9 areas of human and people activity, and that is economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And some say health and nutrition. And all 9 or 10 areas of human and people activity. And that is by Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., who transitioned exactly a year ago at the age of 95, ProduceJustice.com. And when you, a Black person, are captured by any race soldier, you must never fuss, fight, or flee. Comply and defend yourself in court, also by Neely Fuller Jr., ProduceJustice.com. And last but certainly not least, we got our elder, our master teacher, who transitioned exactly 10 years ago at the age of 80, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, who came up with racism, white supremacy as conscious and subconscious behavior to maintain white genetic survival, to prevent white genetic annihilation. And shout out to our FBA brother Tariq Nasheed, preparing for her funeral, along with several others. So those are the topics. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. All right, welcome back, Shabaka. So we're gonna hop right into it with this down in Miami, who got in trouble for embezzling $5 million, and now she's had to resign, and she's not getting no Haitian support. Where's her Haitian support? So Professor Black Truth's gonna give us an update on that.
Okay.
Where are you at? Did I close the tab out? Okay, hold on. I gotta find the tab. Okay, here it is. Share my screen. And here we go. In April is New Black Media Appreciation Month, all month long.
Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the professor, and this is the moment of truth. It looks like cleaning the House of Representatives just in time for the midterms, too. People are having to walk the plank like it was the diving competition at the Olympics. And it just goes to show both parties are worried about their chances to control, or in the case of the Republicans, retain Congress this fall. So everything and everybody has to be thrown under the bus. Who would have thought this was the way to have term limits? There's been 3 resignations this month alone. The latest person to resign under a cloud of disgrace is the now former Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormicc. And I don't really think that it's accurate to call what's happening to her a downfall, because she was never on the rise to begin with. For those of you who weren't paying attention, she's been indicted for allegedly running off with up to $5 million in disaster relief funds that had wrongly been sent to her family's so-called healthcare company during the COVID crisis. Gee, this sounds just like the daycare scam those Somalians were running in Minnesota now, don't it? Well, at least hopefully McCormick didn't misspell health. Now, she claimed that she was going to fight to save her good name, and then she immediately threw in the towel. The GOP-controlled House was preparing to put together a vote to expel her from Congress, and mere minutes before that panel was set to convene, she said that she was resigning because her due process wasn't possible under these circumstances, and besides, why should she wait for what was a kangaroo court? So she chose to jump rather than wait to get pushed. A number of the bootlicks and shills and DNC plants are trying to figure out why is it that the black grassroots isn't coming to McCormick's aid. Well, to put it in the most abstract terms, this isn't about just one congresswoman. It's about a broader and rather awkward pattern in American politics. People arrive in D.C. with modest means and leave with portfolios that would make a hedge fund manager blush. Meanwhile, they completely and thoroughly ignore their own constituents. You know, the people who they expect to come to their aid when they get themselves indicted. You see, all of this political profiteering is perfectly legal. Members of Congress earn salaries that, while comfortable, aren't enough to be going around buying yachts. But when you're a member of Congress, there's a seemingly endless number of ways that you can make money. Book deals, speaking fees, investments, and for a lot of members of Congress, winning stocks in industries that they regulate. Many lawmakers see their net worth balloon during their time in office. It's no secret that people come to Capitol Hill with modest money, or in some cases damn near poor. But after only a couple of election cycles, they're rolling in cash, and so are their close family members. And you got to admit, it makes sense. Would you rather rob a bank and hope to get away with it, or would you prefer to rob the National Treasury and know that you'll get away with it as long as you're not dumb enough to try to rip off FEMA or something? Nancy Pelosi is one of the richest politicians of all time, and she didn't get there off her own salary. She got there because of her uncanny ability to pick winning stocks. And I'm sure that her position in Congress has nothing to do with that. Now, Cherfilus-McCormicc thought that that money she ran off with, allegedly, was going to be her nest egg, I suppose. But how many times have we seen some fool who got a fraudulent PPP loan and they thought that they were home free because a couple of years had passed? They simply don't understand. The feds take years to put a case together. Even one that they know is a slam dunk, it still takes several months, if not years, to come together before they can even indict you. So the feds are content to let you think that they forgot or that you got away with something, but in reality, they were making sure they had the goods on you. More often than not, when the feds show up to indict you, they've already got a solid case. It may not necessarily be for whatever the original big charges were, but they think they got something on you. Well, McCormick's gone and she won't be missed, but she leaves with a federal case still pending against her. It just goes to show bootlicking is a career path that doesn't come with a retirement plan. She is, however, the perfect poster child for the failed Congressional Black Caucus. She's an immigrant who tried to operate the way that she did back home. She took full advantage of the opportunities made possible for her by foundational Black Americans, and then showed us her behind because she thought she had made it. In other words, she thought to herself that she was on the team. The white supremacy had gone ahead and given her a comfortable spot, and all she had to do now was just cash in. She wanted to be a big shot, and now she'll probably be on her way to the big house. Times like this, one could benefit from having a community behind them, but this is the problem that the immigrants have. They came to see what they could get. So when Donald Trump begins rounding up the illegals, it's difficult, if not impossible, for them to band together because they all ran around talking that I come from a superior culture stuff. Most of the immigrants have a tribal mentality where in their home country, the tribe or ethnic group is more important than the collective. And as a result, not only is one group of immigrants unable to unite with another group of immigrants, but the immigrants aren't even able to unite amongst themselves. This is why an overarching sense of blackness could never take hold in Africa like it did with foundational Black Americans in the US. So here this McCormick woman is, no doubt wondering why Black America isn't coming to her aid, why nobody's raising hell about this, nobody's going to be taken to the streets to protest on her behalf. Why should we? What the hell has she ever done for us? And besides, she was very proud to be a Haitian American. She made it very clear that was her delineation, and that being the case, she's welcome to it. She needs to go to the Haitian community in Florida and get her support there. Oh, wait, that's why she had to resign, for lack of support. I'd like to see those same websites from Haiti that touted her as being such a mover and a shaker. They were so happy to celebrate her victory and talk about this is the rising power of Haitians in the U.S. Well, unfortunately, those websites from Haiti don't have any influence here. It's amazing how when some immigrant gets selected to be elected, the people in their home country start partying and celebrating, thinking that somehow this is going to translate to them. But it rarely ever does. And these CBC immigrants are exactly like that because they know under white supremacy, the one Negro at a time rule is in full effect. So ultimately, in their minds, reducing immigration numbers also is a net benefit for them at the polls. Less other immigrants for them to have to run against. Like the rest of the CBC, this McCormick woman danced into Congress through the front door and is now slithering out the back. And this woman is one of the Congress people from Florida, Ron DeSantis' little sewer. Well, what the hell has she been doing to push back against that scumbag? What has she been doing to try to stick up for the Black residents of Florida and to push back against all of the performative extremism that the white right's been doing in Florida? To punish people like Chris Rufo, to put some laws on the books, or at the very least, to start the steady drumbeat of getting some federal action against these scumbags. What's she been doing? Clearly nothing. She's just been looking out for herself. While these creeps run around doing whatever the hell they want to do, she's just been busy trying to stack up her money. I guess she figured that's what she's there for. Just let these guys do whatever the hell they want to do. Meanwhile, she and hers are going to be taken care of. That's what she thought. And this is how it turned out. Make no mistake, there was no scenario where this woman was going to be staying in Congress. If it wasn't one of these scandals that got her, then sooner or later, DeSantis and his pals would do McCormick the same way that Greg Abbott did Jasmine Crockett. Redraw the congressional district maps for Florida, and you can get rid of McCormick with the stroke of a pen. All of my B1 folks down in Florida wondering what the hell's been going on. How come you got these sorry bastards who you put into Congress and yet they don't do anything? What the hell are they up to while y'all are sitting here being targeted by the white right? You see exactly what they're doing. They could give less than a damn about you. And yet these are the people who were told you got to vote for them because they're the only ones who are going to protect you. Protect us from what? These people have never stuck up for us. Hell, they won't even stick up for themselves. This is why the GOP is running roughshod over these clowns with all this voter district map redrawing that's been going on. These fools were so busy trying to snatch whatever's not bolted down or on fire that they can't even be bothered to fight for their own districts. The immigrant Black caucus is so incompetent they can't even band together to use their numbers for anything, even if only to preserve their own worthless hides. But let's be honest here. She's not sorry that she pulled this stunt. She's only sorry that she didn't get to keep the money. The moral of the story is that ultimately bootlicking doesn't pay. And if your support base isn't comprised of rioters, all of that bluster and all of that bragging about your superior culture won't mean jack. This is why the Black grassroots does not have anything to do with these backstabbers. Ultimately, these guys are going to crumble under their own weight. If white supremacy doesn't crush them, then the lack of Black support will starve them for oxygen until they eventually keel over. And they will deserve it, because at the end of the day, if they're not trying to preserve our position, what the hell would we look like trying to preserve theirs? When white power decides to come for these bootlicks, rather than having people who stick up for them, they always wound up surrounded by self-interested opportunists just like themselves. Where are all of these supposedly influential Haitian representatives in the U.S. who are supposed to be sticking up for, people like Corinne Stank-Pierre, Ashley Etienne, and of course, America's favorite bootlick, Roly-Poly Martin? I mean, what the hell would he do to try to protest her getting kicked out of Congress? Nobody takes that guy seriously. Nobody's going to rally around his flag. Personally, I'd like to see Roly-Poly go on a hunger strike, or at the very least, see him tear up his Western Sizzling membership card. These Black misleaders who white power props up, they always think to themselves that they're too clever by half. As they see it, the Republican Party is not the biggest threat to them. In fact, the Republican Party isn't much of a threat at all. That's why the voter district maps are drawn the way that they are, so the politicians can select their own voters. The big problem that they have, the Black grassroots, because we're actually making demands that these sellouts donors don't want made, and that they themselves are personally opposed to. That's the real threat as they see it. But in the end, these bootlicks always prove that they have the survival instincts of a dung beetle. They may have allowed themselves to forget that white power had no seat at the table for them and didn't want them to be there, but the white supremacists never forgot that. And that being the case, one has to wonder, what is Cherfilus-McCormicc's next move going to be? Well, if she does wind up getting sent up the river, I think she still might have a future in healthcare. Only it's going to be emptying her cellmates' bedpans. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Paul Bonham, Williams, Najee Wright, Christopher Ellis, and Alden Atkinson. Salute to them, and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.
All right, Lady Che, are you still there? Lady Che.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, not the bedpans, DSB.
But she got a representation. So she's dead in the water.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. This is why we delineate, because of politicians like this. She was so gun-ho for Haitian this, and I'm Haitian that, and now where the Haitians at come to her rescue? Nowhere to be found. I guess she thought we was gonna put the cape on for her. Nope. Them days are over. You made your bed, now you gotta lay in it. Sea office.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Shabaka. I want to get his stats, but I think Streamyard is acting up again. Yeah, so she got in trouble for embezzling $5 million. All right, well, I don't know what's taking Shabaka so long to get back in here, but we'll move on to the next topic, and that is the Latino police officer that attacks and disrespects Black Americans. But then this happens. So our brother Chase is going to give us an update on that.
Peace and Black Power, Black family. It's your brother Chase back at you again with another reaction video. And check it out. As you can see by the title below, we got some good straightening to do. We got some good straightening, good lessons, to teach today, family.
we got one of these Latino police officers down in Houston, Texas, out here who just went on an anti-Black American crash out, saying the N-word left and right with the heavy ER at the end, family. Okay, so we got some straightening to do, and we got some lessons to teach to the family, because, you know, I'm always on these Latinos bumper, okay, because they try to pass off like this some type of Black-Brown coalition. Every time you look up, they're saying some anti-Black nonsense that runs rampant in their culture. So we got some straightening to do, but before we do all that, family, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, and hype it up. Hype it up, spread the word, spread the message. Thank all the family for the love and support, and make sure you go get one of my newest books, When Black Americans Stop Singing and Start Swinging, because it's a must we tell our story. With that being said, let's jump straight into the straightening. Now, family, I had to edit the video because she said the N-word so many times in this video, you know, I didn't want to get the video demonetized or taken down off YouTube. Okay, family? So whenever you hear a beep, that's her saying the N-word with the ER at the end, okay? So let's listen.
The amount of times that I will always and forever say that I hate. Oh my God, I hate. Like, I hate y'all. Like, I don't. Oh, we were slaves this entire. I don't give a. Like, for a reason, you guys were slaves. You guys don't know anything better than a steal. Like, oh my God. Like, I was literally eating food with my friend. He had his, oh my God, like, I don't know, por Dios, por gracias de Dios, I had my wallet next to me, like my whole purse, and those, like, that little small ass decided not to steal my wallet. Oh my God, I would have grabbed my heel and, like, whooped the out of that ass. But, like, whatever, right? Some other.
Okay, let me pause right there, because she does 2 videos on this. Now, again, all that beeping was her saying the N-word left and right. She was referring to Black people, and you can find the unedited version, social media, Instagram, TikTok, places like that. But she was referring to Black Americans as chimps and monkeys. And okay, she started regurgitating some old school anti-Black American rhetoric. Okay, family? Old school with it. Here's the thing, 2 things, family, before we move forward with the last video, because it's real simple. This is not going to be a long video. Number 1, as I always tell y'all, let ICE do their damn job. Let ICE do their damn job. I got to do it like Umar. Umar like to repeat stuff 3 times. I'm going to repeat it 3 times. Family, let ICE do their damn job. You are not obligated to crash out for these folks who have a culture of anti-Black American hatred that runs rampant in the Latino community. Okay? If they ain't running around saying the N-word, they running around like the Fat Joes trying to steal our culture and trying to appropriate and say, well, hip-hop is theirs. If they ain't trying to do that, they out here voting against our interest. You dig? They're always doing whatever is anti-Black. We don't have no friends, family. You are not obligated to crash out for them. For all these Negroes who run around talking about, but Chase, what about the Black-Brown coalition? That don't exist. There is no coalition. We have no friends.
There never has been.
I know that's scary for some of you that's listening, but it's the truth. It's the truth, family. This is another classic example, and this is not an isolated incident, family. Okay, y'all can just look through my page. All these anti-Black things that these Latinos say and do, it don't make no damn sense to still be running around here with the illusion of a Black-Brown coalition. That's why I tell y'all, let ICE do their damn job and let them fight their own battles. Number 2, and this is another, again, reminder to my foundational Black American family, because she's in Texas. And I always say that, unfortunately, I see a lot of Black folks, sometimes foundational Black Americans in Texas, especially states like New York, and I would say California, particularly around the Los Angeles area. They're always giving these passes to these Latinos to say the N-word. And the excuse is always, well, Chase, you got to understand, man, we grew up together. We went to the same schools together. We both got issues with the police. That don't matter. Just because somebody grows up with you, just because they have a similar enemy as you, don't mean they're your friend. These folks are not a friend to foundational Black Americans. They display that same anti-Black American rhetoric as these white folks do. Please understand that, family. When they're sitting up here saying the N-word, that is not a term of endearment. They're not sharing some type of camaraderie with you. They use the N-word like a trophy of their conquest over you. Notice that when these folks go on these anti-Black American rhetorics, they run around here talking about who gonna stop me from saying nigga, nigga this, nigga that. Notice it's always coming from a power dynamic. Understand, she's a Houston police officer. She's been probably running around Houston, hemming up Black folks, abusing Black folks, abusing her position of power. And now she feels so powerful because she views herself as someone who has conquered Black people and is in a superior position over Black people. Well, she's going to call us nigga now. She's going to put us in our place. She's superior to us, and there's nothing we can do to her. We can't touch her. All right? That comes from a power position. Them running around saying the N-word. They view that as a trophy to show that they conquered us. That's that conquistador mentality that many of these Latinos come over here with. And has nothing to do with some type of camaraderie. Remember, we always play this video. Listen to Mexican OT. He got into hot water, I would say last year, about him saying the N-word. Listen to how he describes it, and then we're going to come back and play the rest of the video and listen to what she says. You know, it's always from this power dynamic. Check this out.
MD.
It's really strong. I have a question. So, you know, like you're from the South. Obviously, you grew up a different kind of way, and you're a rapper too. Do you feel like you could say the N-word?
I feel like I can say it, but not because of that, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm. Listen carefully.
I wish there was some Black dudes in here.
There are. Right there.
And there's one right here. Not.
Okay, well, we're gonna use him.
Okay, that's my manager. Hey,
because
Will.
me and Fee know what's up.
Well, you're Black. I'm saying.
What the fuck are you gonna do about it, you know? And then second of all, I grew up loving these motherfuckers. I grew up fighting with them.
Place you know, good motherfucker, something called the right hand upside your motherfucking head.
I grew up fucking doing bad shit with them. I grew up loving with them. You know, I got family. And it's not even about family. Even if I wasn't related to nobody out Black, I mean, well, shit, it's what the fuck I was surrounded by, you know? Like, I respect people that they feel that way, and that's why I try to shut the fuck up about it.
Right.
But if you're from where I'm from, or anywhere, what the fuck are you gonna do about it? You know, it's like I don't went to the jungle and earned the lion's head.
Listen to it, family. It's like I went to the jungle and earned the lion's head. See, that Latino female who's a police officer, this suspected white supremacist, male, Latino male, Mexican OT, they view, I keep telling y'all, people view foundational Black American culture like safari culture. It's this culture that's very exotic, dangerous, and screams masculinity and toughness. And they view themselves, if they can go within our culture, survive within our culture, and say one of our most sacred words that strictly belongs to our culture, they view that as conquering us. It's like a conquest thing. And saying the word nigga unapologetically, even in front of Black people, is like a trophy. Like he said, that's like the lion's head. Yeah, I've been playing in the jungle with these niggas and I came out with their head. I can say every word they can say and they can't do nothing about it. Same thing with this Latino female, her in a power position. I've been running around. I've been arresting these so-called masculine Black men. I've been slapping up their women. I've been doing X, Y, and Z. And now I can go around them and say the word nigga and it's nothing they can do about it because I'm on top. Okay? I'm on top. These folks are not no comrades. Okay? These folks don't have no type of connection with us. Many of these folks are the same as the suspected white supremacists they claim to hate. Understand, most of these folks don't want to ally. They just want their chance to hold the whip. Go back and listen to that video. She talking about y'all want nothing but slaves. They want their chance to hold the whip. The white man got to whip us. Now they want to show the white man they can whip us too. So get that out your head, Black family. Please get that out your head. All this, I'm giving them a pass. They grew up with me. Stop it. If they grew up with you and they truly have love and respect for you and your people, they will be the last people to say the word because they have that much respect for you. Them saying the word is simply a trophy to show that they have power and conquest over you. But let's get back to the video.
But no homo or nothing. Y'all don't know how good it felt to say like out loud. Like goddamn. Like oh my god, I felt like I was back in the Marine Corps. Like I kid you not. I don't know what the came over me. I grabbed that by the neck and I was like, "Come here, you." And
okay, listen to what she's saying again. It's about power and conquest. Oh, how good it felt to say the N-word. Oh, it was like I was back in the Marines and I grabbed that nigga by the neck and I strangled him. Oh, that's such a power move for them. Oh, they dream about those scenarios. Taking this Negro who is the epitome of masculinity. Everybody views Black American culture as masculine, aggressive, and raw, and I tamed them. Oh, how good that felt. Listen to what she's saying.
oh my god, like I felt like the world just stopped. Like it was just peace. Like I don't know. And then he was just like even I in my head I was like, damn, because I called him a dog. Like imagine.
All right, and that's the end. And again, she put this on her Instagram story. That's how emboldened she's gotten with it. And here's the reality. I said what I said, but here's the reality, family. Before we get into all that, long story short, salute to the FBA family down there in Houston. They got on her bumper. They hit up that Houston Police Department family and got her fired. Shout out to the good sister down there, Dr. Matthews. Let me play a little clip to her. They got on her bumper.
Everyone, I'm Dr. Candace Matthews, national renowned human civil rights activist, advocate, and author, I might say. Well, we're out here today, well, tonight actually, in regards to Officer Ashley Gonzalez. Well, I'm going to say used to be Officer Ashley Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. So I just find it interesting that she was just so bold and emboldened to just be talking like that on social media about Black people. Okay, and you think you're going to be a police officer in my city over here displaying that kind of behavior? Baby, let me give the community an update. She is no longer working for HPD. She was gone as of today, okay, because she got that belt to that ass. Because what we're not going to do is tolerate no police officers that's holding a badge and then you're damn racist.
All right, salute to the foundational Black American grassroots out there in Houston, Texas, the Texas family in general. I was just in Dallas the other week. Boy, the FBA family out there strong. Okay, they don't play around. All right, that FBA family in Texas, man, listen, somebody better tell y'all about them. But listen, I think we need to take it a step further, family. We need to take it a step further. First and foremost, we're glad that she's been relieved of duties. But number one, we need to be pushing for every case she was involved in, every investigation she was involved in, okay? I even want to know the police officers who were working with that Latino Ashley Gonzalez. I want to know the police officers that were working with her. Because for her to run around so unapologetically with that anti-Black American sentiment and action, they had to have known who she really was and her true feelings. All right. So we need to know the officers who were partnered with her, who've been working with her. All of that needs to be under a thorough investigation. HPD, Houston Police Department, and we need weekly updates on that. Okay. Everybody who's filed a complaint against her needs to be top priority because y'all were walking around with a woman who sounds like Adolf Hitler on the police department, talking about how good it felt to commit these actions against Black people, to say these things against Black people. So yeah, we need a thorough investigation and we need updates. Hell, we need updates on her whereabouts. Because one thing these suspected white supremacists like to do in the past, especially with law enforcement family, and y'all know this, they relieve them of duty, but they didn't really relieve them of duty. They'll transfer these suspected white supremacists. Okay, so they might have relieved her of duty temporarily, and then you look up 2-3 years later, she's working in El Paso. She's working in Odessa, Texas. She's working in San Antonio. They didn't transfer her somewhere else to a desk job at the police department.
Yeah, like Florida.
Okay. There's an old saying that these suspected white supremacists don't get fired, they get transferred. So we need to make sure she is completely fired. That needs to be an asterisk on her record. Plain and simple. Wherever she goes, we need to be clear. You're hiring a white supremacist by the name of Ashley Gonzalez. Because we got to even stop saying she's suspected. She said what she said. So family, even though we got her relieved of her duty, we need to stay on top of it. We need to keep her name in that database. We need to continue to call HPD. All right. We need to continue to do these things. We need to continue to stay on her bumper. In the HPD's bumper, we need a thorough investigation of not only her, but the officers around her. Because she ain't the only white supremacist working at the HPD. You don't survive being the only one up there talking like that. But comment below, family. Tell me what you think. Like the video, hype it up. And most importantly, go get your copy of my newest book, When Black Americans Stop Singing and Start Swinging. Because it is a must we stand on FBA business, and it is a must we tell our side of the story. Until next time, family, peace and Black power. I'm out.
Black power, Brother Chase. Yeah, so Ashley Gonzalez, you got votes. But like he said, she probably just got transferred to another department.
Right.
She gonna keep practicing that anti-Black hatred wherever it is they transferred her to.
Right.
As far as what you said, MD, are you trying to say that they can't say nigga? Because I don't condone that shit at all.
Not in the fucking least.
It to the fullest. He said we put it in a lexicon. So are you trying to say that it's justified in her saying nigga in that video? Because we put it in a lexicon and we can't gatekeep the culture.
But also too, Hollywood had a lot to do with that shit there too, Brother Jay.
Right.
See. Okay, MD20 says, I don't believe that. I made a video titled Nigga Shit. Be as American as apple pie. Black Americans made the term nigga a part of the hood lexicon. I told you, Jesse, culture can't be gatekeep. When I was coming up, we used to smash motherfuckers for that. You see?
Right.
Yeah, just like what DSB is saying right here. I wouldn't advise anyone that's not my people to use that word around me. It might cost you a few teeth. That's precisely what I'm talking. Okay. Just like Franklin told Charlie Brown, if I was to bust you in your motherfucking mouth and knock out all your goddamn teeth, you would remember that, right?
Right.
Yeah, say so. Hollywood did a lot with that shit. Plus the music industry had done a lot with it. Then they try to come up, oh man, it's just a word. So if you go up there and call these motherfuckers, some derogatory racial terms about them, which I am very capable of, okay, then you got a fight on your hands. Mm-hmm. You see? So which means is that they got to see the other side of this coin. You see?
Right. Yeah, because they tolerate us calling them a bunch of wetbacks and spicks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can go on there. Wetbacks, spicks. You know what I'm saying? And no offense to Lady Che. You know what I mean?
It's not Mexican.
Beaners. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's hear from Lady Che. Oh, we lost Lady Che. God damn it. We just lost her.
Okay. Say, and then, but what had happened is, man, see, you got these so-called Negroes in quote unquote positions of power who do not check these individuals. Because if you're in a position of power and you don't check these individuals with said power, then you really have no power. Just like this bastard man is going to come up here on my Facebook page when I show pictures of the Blacc Panther Party Museum. He says, oh yeah, the Crack Panthers. And I'm like, man, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know, like I told, you know, other idiots, take your ass up there to Defirmary Park, do a live feed and talk that shit and watch how fast Newton's nephews get up there to whoop your motherfucking ass.
Right, with the quickness.
Yeah, and they done it more than twice, okay? You see, they done it more than twice, just like the sister who came up there, you know, defending her uncle's memory. You know what I'm saying? You know, and what have you. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, you putting your well-being at risk. You know, you go up there to the Defirmary Park with that shit. Do a live feed from there. Make it live. You'll say, and they'll be on your ass quite quickly. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, though, Brother Che, over the course of my lifetime, you know, I just seen it deteriorate. But once again, it goes back to the crack epidemic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, see what our man was talking about, you know, Gary Webb, you see what he said. May he rest in peace. You see, he didn't have to do that, but he did. You see what I'm saying? And he paid the ultimate price for it. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and DSB Deuce and a Quarter says, I wouldn't advise anyone that's not my people to use that word around me because it could cost you a few teeth. Yes, sir. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. That's the stance I have. DSB. I don't tolerate shit. And you off-code Negroes that allow that shit, you get checked too.
Oh, hell yeah. You see what I'm saying? But once again, though, Brother Che, you see, now that on that element right there that you had mentioned, this is why, you know, during the 60s, you had a quote unquote, what do they call that? The Pan-African, I'm going to use the word, what is that? You know, the so-called Pan-African thing. I'm going to use it at that, but there's a specific word that will describe that it was all in show, but it was not actually practice. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're talking about Pan-African movement.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean? And really, it's kind of sad, you know, coming up in that era, and then just to see how regard for us has just literally went down the tubes. But then, as you said, Brother Che, with the motherfuckers who sold us out on the continent for that alcohol and whiskey, same shit, sir. Same shit, except it's just on a different piece of paper. You see what I'm saying? You know. Yeah, and I'm so very, very sorry that I had.
They be the main ones that allow these Latinos to get away with saying that shit.
That's that's what I'm saying. Okay, just like with Traore, he up there capitulating, you know, with as you pointed out, with Putin. You see what I'm saying? Because if you really check it out, Brother Che, Dumpster, Putin. One thing that they do look at each other as, Brother Che, is white.
Yeah.
So they would have a more white solidarity thing. You see what I'm saying? If anything else, you see, when you note out this type.
Look who they click up with in prison. Look who they click up with in prison. They click up with the Aryan Brotherhood.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? WAB. You see? That's who they click up with, you see. And then, Lord help our people, man, who's in there, caught up in there, you see. So therefore, young black men, stay up out of jail. You know what I'm saying? And then we can make the power swift. You see what I mean? And what I mean the power switch, I'm sorry. And we could do it quite swiftly, you see, because one thing about us, when we got our viewpoints together in a line and what have you, it's an unstoppable force. Why do you think, man, that they go through these extra methods of division, these extra methods of making these dumbass movies in Hollywood, shattering Black unity? You see what I mean? Now, you had to
just demon time music where they talk about
exactly
any and everybody.
Yeah, exactly. You see what I mean? And then when you get these ass scratching Negroes who come up there, and then and I ain't gonna say you motherfucker's name, but I'm gonna talk about your shit. There's this one Negro, okay? Oh man, if the color of my skin don't bother you, can we be friends? Nigga, you're yassa bossing. Your ass scratching. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying, hopefully that motherfucker sees this playback. You ass scratch. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong.
So you can share this out.
Yeah. I need the YouTube link. Yeah. So, and what has happened is with this ethos of this quote unquote Black culture in the United States, Brother Che, it's all about self-degradation now. You see?
That's because we have to control it, Shabaka. We're gaining control of it. That's what I was trying to tell MD. Got to gatekeep our culture.
Yeah. Okay. And I appreciate DSB deucing a quarter of what he's saying. He wouldn't advise anyone that's not my people to use that word around him. Let's say
check him every time, Shabaka.
Yeah, and that's standing on business. You know what I'm saying?
Gotten in the fight. I've done all of that. As a matter of fact, the last time me and Lady Che went to go visit Sister Bianca, one of them on the damn train talking that shit, and I had to check him.
And he get his mind right?
Yeah, he got his mind right.
Okay. And all this other type of shit, you know, and it's very, very sad that it has to be this way. But however, what the Dr. King said before he was killed, Jay, I led my people into a burning house with integration. This here supports his premise on that.
It's these ones that's infested with, involved in gang culture. They're the bloods or whatever, and they think that's okay to say that word because that's all I hear from the people around them. But it's like, nah, I don't care who your family is. I don't care who your friends are. They ain't my friends. They ain't my homies. They ain't none of that. So I don't care about none of that shit you talking about. You need to keep that right out your mouth.
Yeah, you see. And then, two, they always, man, want us to sit up there, man, and just go along with it. You see what I'm saying? But you go up there and call one of them motherfuckers a derogatory term about their culture, man, you're going to have your hands full.
Yeah, they're not going to like that.
Yeah, exactly. You see? But then, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Hopefully she gets completely terminated and not rehired anywhere else. But like you said, when they get fired, they just get transferred.
Yeah, exactly. You see, you know, and that's what's so fucked up about it. You know what I'm saying? It really is. That is what's so fucked up about it. And then they said it,
So shout out to the FBA family down in Texas that put belt to ass on this broad. So now,
welcome and thank you for joining
into a deeper conversation on this. Black and Latino relations, history, tension, and the path to unity. I got unity. All right, so this is from the Isaiah Factor out of Houston.
Okay.
A panel discussion. As you can see, there's a brother and a sister up here, and then there's two Latinos up here.
Okay.
And they're basically talking about their upbringing and how they're
joining us for the Factor on
how their culture is racist as hell. But one starts off with, "Oh, I had black friends growing up, and this is all I knew," and then he later on goes into how his family was racist as hell. And instilled that in him at a young age.
Yeah. See?
Censored HPD officer Ashley Gonzalez has been at the center of many discussions here on The Factor this week. She's been stripped of her police powers after the release of an alleged video of her repeatedly using the N-word. But beyond the badge, this incident exposes a much deeper, uncomfortable truth that few people want to tackle, talk about, even address: the unspoken tensions between the Black and Latino communities. It's a long-standing issue that people have been bringing up behind closed doors.
And I'm like very pro-Latina, but like being pro-Latina is like calling out in our community, and our community can be very anti-Black.
The tension between the Black and Latino community needs to stop. And we need to be the generation to stop it.
And we have multiple questions. What is really driving the wedge between these two groups? How do we fix this? And is this our America? Joining us now, President of Houston Millennials, Ivan Sanchez, podcast host, Dennis Reyna, CEO of Regal Media, Todd Smith, and Texas State Representative Jolanda Jones. Glad to see you all here on The Factor Uncensored. Now, just hearing that officer led us to question, this is more than just about her. This is a problem that we have in America when it comes to the Black and brown divide. So let's begin with you guys, and I want to hear your honest opinion. Do you think this is an issue?
Oh, it's absolutely an issue. I mean, I saw it when I was on the HISD school board, where you had the Latino board members and one ally with them literally fire illegally the Black superintendent. And so it doesn't seem like there's colorism everywhere, but nobody wants to be worse than Black people. And the funny thing is, everyone gets their civil rights because Black people fight for them, but everybody wants to be better than Black people. And you can tell with the video that she sent to her friends, that her friends, I guess, except for the one who shared it, are okay with it. She was comfortable talking about it. And you see it now because I think that Trump has just made it okay for people to show their racism. And in this particular instance, it's anti-Black.
Exactly, deuce and a quarter.
She doesn't need
exactly deuce and a quarter. Exactly, fuck them.
A badge. She doesn't need to be the police because she's prejudiced against Black people. And somebody like that is dangerous to us.
Well, sister, that's one of the main requirements to be a police officer, is to be prejudiced against Black people.
She doesn't ever need to be law
Look at the
enforcement
goddamn
anywhere
LAPD.
in the United States or in Texas.
All right, Ivan, let's hear from you. Your thoughts about this. First of all, do you acknowledge there is a problem?
There is definitely a problem, but let me be clear. Making this entire thing about Latino versus Black is totally wrong. This is about the MAGA mindset versus the minority community. I looked at her voting history.
Oh, motherfucker, don't try to put this on MAGA. Y'all was like this war goddamn dump.
Yes. Shit, these motherfuckers was like this, man, way back when Roosevelt was the damn president, before any of us was even thought of.
Right.
And before that.
Yeah. So this ain't nothing new for them. So him trying to put it on MAGA is bullshit.
Exactly. Total bullshit, Che, and I approve of the message. You know what I mean?
And she's a Trump supporter. I mean, are we surprised what's going on here?
And we're hated because these other groups can't be us.
A couple of years ago.
Really quick, I don't think it's that simple. I think you have an individual who grew up in the Hispanic community.
Yes, sir. Deuce and a quarter, for real. Thank you, sir.
Comfortable in saying that before she became affiliated with a political group.
Well, they're all coming out of the shadows. Let me give you an example. I was one of the only brown kids in my football team with all black and white football players. My heart was broken after graduation in 2006. I'll fast forward to 2015, 2016. They're all just ranting the most racist shit on Facebook.
We apologize for that. We don't say the S word. Once again, we apologize.
My bad. But look, I have my high school reunion, my 20-year high school reunion coming up, and I'm just going to be very blunt. People have empowered me to use my voice to speak truth to power, and I'm going to confront these folks. They were hiding their hatred for a very long time, so it comes from stemming from their parents giving them this hatred. So there might be a divide because we're not perfect, but we have a lot of work to do.
All right, no more S words, no more F words.
Yeah.
But let's continue this conversation, Todd.
I have another S word that's more appropriate. It's self-hate.
and the need to be a model minority. I agree with what both of these
now that we've been saying that for the last
people wanting to be better than Black
years.
people, but we have a lot of minorities that want to assimilate and be accepted by the majority society, in a majority culture, and they'll do anything to distance themselves from the others. I'm not like this person, I'm not like that group, and that creates the division. We want to show that, oh, I'm better than the Black person, I'm better than the Hispanic person, when, like Jolanda said, rights for minorities came from Black struggle and from Black civil rights. So a lot of us are fighting the same battles, but we're not realizing that we're on the same team to fight racism. You know what I mean? It's going to take all of us coming together, Hispanic, Asian, Black, white, to fight racism. And until we stop trying to be that model minority, and until we stop trying to be better than the others, we'll continue to be at odds with each other.
That mistake has already been made,
All right,
sir.
Dennis, let's hear from you. What are your thoughts?
I mean, my issue with this is Hispanics, you know, who use the N-word feel like they have the right to use the N-word, right? And I think that that's the wrong mindset. There's two versions of it, right? There's the way that this, you know, lady was speaking on her.
What we see there appears to be pure hate.
Exactly. And then there's the way I'm not gonna lie to you, the way I grew up was I'm literally one of 3 Mexicans around a bunch of Black friends playing sports. I didn't see an issue saying the N-word because my Black friends didn't see an issue with me saying the N-word, right?
Yeah, because you didn't get the shit knocked out of you. That's why.
After my second child. My second child, both of my kids are both half Black. And I had to realize, like, I have to be the one to change it. My Black friends weren't telling me to stop saying it. I have to be the one to change it because I have to also teach my kids that whoever is going to use this word is ignorant, right? And I think that it starts there because it's a level of ignorance as a Hispanic growing up that you don't know. You don't understand that this term is so hateful and holds so much weight to it that you have to learn that on your own and say, okay, now I need to stop this.
And really quick though, I don't
exactly,
want to
DSB.
on the N-word. That's an easy conversation. In the
Exactly,
last 30 seconds
DSB.
before we go to break, have you seen or experienced hate of Black people by other Hispanics?
So,
That's what we're talking about.
And this was going to go into what I was going to say is my family, right? My family they're all from Houston. They're all from Texas.
Let's hold you there because we want you to finish that story. That sounds juicy. We'll be back with more Factor and our guests. And once again, we apologize for Ivan slipping up. He's hot and all of that. We'll be back. Stay with us. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We continue our conversation about the real unspoken tension between the Black and Latino communities.
My family used to have very hateful ways in speaking about Black people as I was growing up, right? And as a child, I didn't see, that this was right or wrong. I just saw, okay, this is kind of how my family speaks when they're speaking about, this race or whatever. So as I started getting older, I started realizing like this ain't right. It got to the point that it made me so uncomfortable that I wouldn't even allow my Black friends to come to my house because I never knew what my family would say at that point, right? But as I got older, again, I'm the first person to bring a Black woman into the household and say, hey, this is who I'm with. I had to start checking things as they're being said. Mm-hmm. I'm at a party. I don't want to be at a family party worrying about what my family is going to say out of line, out of pocket. And now I have to stand up for not only, the woman that I'm with at the time, but my kids. Like you're not about to disrespect any of them in saying what you're saying at this point.
Was there any rhyme or reason for this hate that your family has?
So looking at my family and then also a couple other Hispanic families that I've grown up with, I think that in Texas, in Houston, there's an issue of Hispanics being what I would call whitewashed, thinking that they're not as bad as Black people. Mm-hmm. They're on the same level as white people. But in reality, certain white people will look at both everybody sitting here on this panel today and be like, I don't like any of you, mm-hmm. right? So I think it's a very whitewash mentality that a lot of older Hispanics have.
And they call that cultural assimilation.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Jolanda, in hearing the honesty that Dennis has?
Well, so first of all, I agree with Dennis. I mean, everybody is like, yeah, you can sleep with a black person, but don't bring them home to marry him. Don't have no kids with him. Don't do anything.
Now we're getting somewhere, people. So this is where it all boils down to.
Who have chosen to be with black people, and their families have literally
goddamn
disowned them. And
plantation
even within the Hispanic
system.
community, there's colorism. They treat the darker skinned Hispanics worse than they treat the lighter skinned because everybody thinks white is right. And it's a problem. And black people, as God would have us, are darker than everybody. So if you go around the world, I experienced it when I lived in Spain. They treated Africans really poorly. They treated gypsies really poorly who were dark skinned. So around the world, everyone treats black people like they are evil. And the really crazy thing about us as black people is we always welcome everybody. We always try to bring everybody along with us. And nobody wants to be us. Everybody wants to go to appropriate. They want big lips. They want big bottoms. They want to have everything like us.
No, y'all couldn't have a motherfucker like me up there.
And Trump has made it okay. So these people, this isn't something that's new. They've always been anti-black.
Jesse, you know they couldn't have me up
and
there.
if he can be anti-black, then they think they can. And I'm really thankful, for it, because there's nothing like thinking somebody really appreciates your humanity, and then this time shows you that they don't. So there are a lot of friends that I had in high school. I went to a mostly white high school. I'm not friends with most of them, because they say stuff that's just unacceptable, and I check them because every time I see anti-blackism, I go at it like a heat-seeking missile, because if I remain silent and there's somebody around who doesn't have an opinion and I don't say anything, then they'll think it's okay. And I need to check it.
All right. And Ivan,
Well,
I've
she
been
sound
watching
like
you
she
through
started
the
to
process.
do a
Do you
Musa
feel
Light.
like you're being villainized here, or some of your people? What?
No, it's time to rip off the scab. I heard what Dennis said. In the family barbecues, it does happen. In the family gatherings, just little comments here and there. But I will say it in advance, in a professional level. I've worked for all black elected officials. And when I'm sent to these
That
other
almost sounds like I got all black friends.
No. I'm not going to do that. But hey, look at my record. I worked for 11 years for Sheila Jackson Lee, for Jolanda Jones. And when I go to some of these places, it has been insinuated that I'm already betraying the Latino community.
Oh, wow.
So it is embedded. And it's time to rip off the scab and get better.
And so in the last time we have here, guys, how do you see us bridging the gap, trying to work this out, if at all?
Like Dennis said, you have to check people. When people have racist views, you have to check them. Jolanda would do it, but I think it's better when it comes from somebody in the community, because a lot of times, they're just complaining. They always, like the young lady said, they just talk about slavery all the time. But when it comes from somebody from your community, I think it holds more weight. So if people of other colors can check anti-black racism, it would do a lot of good in knowing it's not accepted, because when we do it,
we
we're
got to do
complaining. But
that
when they
shit
do it and call
ourselves,
it out,
man.
it might be respected a little more.
All right, Dennis, let's hear from you. What do you think?
I mean,
That's why I dug
the
out
other thing I
because
would
he
say
had
is
people who were his
allow
opponents
us
who
to
are
be an ally,
non-black called him that,
right?
and he'll whoop their
I think that
motherfucking ass.
because racial tensions are so high in certain rooms, in certain areas, it does feel like, you're just you're saying that, right? You don't mean what you're saying. You're trying to stand up for black people and your black friends, but you don't really necessarily mean that. Nah, man, I genuinely mean it. Allow me to be an ally.
Got it.
Any
closing? Got 20 seconds.
I was just saying that, I tell anyone who's with somebody black,
allow him to be an ally. The fuck? Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, brother Check. If the motherfucker was truly an ally, he would not have to ask that goddamn question.
Right.
I hope
you see
that
what
you
I'm
love
saying?
your children and your grandchildren for their humanity. And you better start checking people who are anti-black, because if you have one drop of black blood, your babies and grandbabies are black. So you better start fighting for them. I know you're not going to allow people to treat people that you love like second-class citizens, and that's how people treat us.
All right. We want to thank you guys for a
Now,
great
you know
and
what she's
honest
talking about on that
conversation.
there,
We
brother
appreciate
Jay.
you here on The Factor.
Band of Angels.
And the imitation
So
of
he
life.
created
Move
this
to the head
FBA.
of the class, young man.
All right, Lady Shay. welcome back. What are your thoughts on?
Take care of something really serious. I'm sorry I got up to date. What my thoughts about this? First of all, because if you have children with a black woman, you should already be on that allyship.
Right.
About you had enough balls to cohabitate and make children with them. Now you're talking about allow you to what? Someone put shit.
Allow to be an ally.
What? Allow you to do what? You already fucking laid down. You already brought the lady to the barbecue or the fucking quinceañera or whatever the fuck you call it. You know what I mean? Like, it's whatever. I don't agree. I think that the cop lady should have been fired. I think that anybody catch that broad.
No, Lady Che, her ass needs to go to jail for a hate crime, not stepping on your conversation.
She was committing major remarks, and she put her hands on somebody. So she committed a hate crime. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And who knows
you're right. That's
how many
battery.
other fucking black people they should have manhandled to arrest and shit too. On some old anti-black racism. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't agree. I think that what we hear now, we're in a new season now, family. So that shit ain't gonna fly. So everybody think they could just let that word just slip out in heat of anger or whatever. That's where their heart is. That's what they should get. That's what they should get. The good old ancestral treatment. You know what I mean? Right. A little knocked off your feet a little bit. You know what I mean? Why? Because it's not
exactly deuce and a quarter.
You're not supposed to be saying something that's fucking offensive. First of all, it's not cute. You're not gaining any cute points by doing it. All you're doing is just making an ass out of yourself by culturally, probably culturally appropriating, but not like that. But saying a word that is offensive, if we do it, that's one thing. If you do it, it's another thing. Why is that? It's just like any other fucking any other race who has their own little slurs and offenses and shit like that. They don't like it. They can stand up for it. Why can't we? Why is it a problem when we do it? Right? But it's a major problem, and it's been a major problem with the tensions going on between Hispanic people and black people for as long as I lived. Mm-hmm. And she's right. Darker skinned Hispanics or darker skinned Hispanics get treated just the same. You know what I mean? They get called bad names too.
Yeah. Mate.
Right. So you know, so that being said, I don't think they people should be just saying it just willy-nilly. Like that, and especially a cop.
Yeah.
And then on her own personal time, you know what I mean? She's over there so ecstatic. Somebody need to catch that bitch slipping now that she's not hired. She's not a police officer anymore.
Right.
So all bets is off now. Shit. And that bitch has a very recognizable face.
They probably transferred that bitch to El Paso or something.
Either way.
Yeah. And El Paso is literally across the street from Mexico like TJ is. I've been through El Paso. It means the pass.
Yep.
Uh-huh. That's all I gotta say.
Now, now here's another thing too that I want to bring up too, Brother Che.
Yeah.
Everybody know, and I know, Lady Che, you familiar with this place. It's called the Olympic Auditorium in downtown Los Angeles, where they used to have the boxing at, right? Now, Don King had got up and he was promoting one of his fights, and he was saying is that, and I forgot who it was, but there were two different backgrounds. It was a brother and the opponent was a white guy. So he says, yeah, well, we try to build the animosity upon that. You see what I'm saying? You know, to sell the tickets. Okay. Now, getting back to the greatest of all time. You see what I'm saying? Is that he stood on business when it came to blackness like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ali stood on business with that shit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, they're going to try to get her rehired as quickly as possible without that badge. That's her ass. Yeah, exactly. So what it is, Deuce in the Quarter, is that her coward ass was hiding behind her badge. You see?
Yeah, let her try to be. They can never step to any other one of us one-on-one.
Right.
They can never do that.
But they hide behind that badge, Lady J. Not cutting your wisdom, but this is why when Ferguson went down, I appreciated the police captain who got out there in uniform, who stated publicly, this is a bunch of bullshit, and he says, I'm out here with my people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you see, so shout out to that brother, you know what I mean? And then the cold part about it is, Black family, is that the culture we come from, because we've been all over this whole damn world, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be us, but to you Nabiscos and people who are non-Black, why do you want to fuck our women? And I'm being plain about it. Why?
It's like Chase said, it's something exotic.
Being with a Black woman, Brother Che, is extremely exotic. You know what I'm saying? It's because she's the original woman.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you damn right about that. It's extremely exotic, and I'm sure DSB, Deuce in the Quarter, agrees with me. Yeah, okay, yeah, DSB said, yeah, here's remember that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, please specify Deuce in the Quarter.
He's talking about the brother Ferguson.
Oh yes. And then you remember this here, Brother Che. We're saying this here for our new listeners. When old Messy Jesse went down there, man, and them brothers stepped in and said, "Man, get your ass up out of here, Trick. Don't even get out the motherfucking car."
Yep. When he set foot in Ferguson, he got run off the block. When he set foot in Baltimore after Freddie Gray got killed, he got run off the block.
Okay.
He get run off the block.
Yeah, see, and the thing is, Brother Che, about our uniqueness as a culture, rather if it's an original culture, meaning from Africa, or a subculture coming through the diaspora, or what have you. Yeah, say, we always got that sense of Blackness, you know what I'm saying? And that there's like, you know, the clip that I sent you on, man, you know, about Ali's former wife, you know, he always had his sense of Blackness. You see what I'm saying? And keep in mind, he did not have to do that, y'all. Same thing with Huey Newton and the Blacc Panther Party. Same thing with the Black Liberation Army. You see what I'm saying? And how we're going to honor our ancestors who made the ultimate sacrifice to prevent this bullshit. You see what I mean? Same thing with the civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the sister said, we fought for everybody else's rights, but they still don't.
Except ours.
Yeah.
Except ours. You see what I'm saying? But this here just goes to show you that God is on our side, like Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad has said, because we are still the fuck here and we ain't going no place.
Nowhere.
You see what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for us, man, in fact, you know what, Brother Che, mark this day. I would say if it wasn't for us, man, humanity itself wouldn't exist.
It wouldn't.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then I get these goddamn troglodytes coming up on my wall. You know, you damn monkey and all that. And I says, look, take your funky, nasty, stinking ass back to the Caucasoid Mountains in your cold and go wash your ass. We had to show you motherfuckers how to wash your ass.
You shouldn't even told them that. Just told them you the one that resemble a damn monkey. You ain't got.
Okay. I'm gonna remember that one there, Brother Che. Yeah.
Underneath the fur. The fuck are you talking about? They kill shit.
Yeah. And just like two DSBs, you know, when they was making all them stupid ass Tarzan movies, man, DSB said America would look like a cave if it wasn't for our people. You damn right about that, sir. You know. And then, like when they used to make them damn jigaboo movies in the 30s and the Tarzan movies, like Ali said, and they really hated him on this. Ali said, man, you're going to sit up there and tell me a white man is going to go over here to the motherfucking jungles of Africa, man, and going to go and talk and communicate with all the animals. And we've been in that motherfucker, man, for millions of years before this stinking, nasty motherfucker, you know, even existed. You see? And then, man, oh, man. It's just that
they think that they can conquer nature. They're at war with nature.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to lose. And they're going to fucking lose. You're not going to win against nature. You see what I'm saying?
Dick Gregory said before he passed.
Yeah.
Colors 3, I believe it was. He said,
okay.
King Kong. King Kong was about Jack Johnson.
Oh, okay. I believe it because they made the original King Kong, man, 1933. And Jack Johnson probably retired from boxing about 12 years earlier on that.
Yeah, it was about him, though. Because remember, he kept snatching up the white women and taking them
exactly.
up with the Empire building.
Yes, sir. And then keep in mind, Black family, it wasn't so much the black man chasing the white woman on the plantation system. It was the white woman chasing the black man. The reason why the white woman was chasing the black man is because once the raping, slave trading, funky ass pedophile violated that young black girl, you see what I'm saying? That's what that's all about. You see? And I believe, Brother Che, there was a book that I came across called Sex and Racism in America. I couldn't get past the first 3 pages, man. I had to put it down. My blood pressure went up.
Remember, sex is one of the 9 areas in human and people activity.
Right. Okay.
And like Dr. Francis Chris Wilson said, racism and white supremacy is genetic survival to prevent white genetic annihilation.
Okay. And then they figure that they just can come off into our fucking culture like they come up on my like page, because the like page is on Facebook, people, in case you don't know. It's open to everybody because you used to be able to select who can come to your like page. But now they letting any and every motherfucker up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like our boy Christian Mata said, they genocidal rape babies. And they have the mentality of the conquistador.
Exactly. Yeah, the conquistadors. Yeah. Okay, because from what I understand, because I used to work with this guy, who grew up in East LA, right? And I told you, Brother Che, he was the one that told me about what the word rios de oros mean, and he said rivers of gold. And I showed him on the African map. I said, man, see that? That's where I got the word from. He says, oh, okay. Okay, now let me make sure I got it right. Ponce de Leon, he was the motherfucker that went to Florida looking for the fountain of youth, right?
Yeah.
And then who is the commander of the conquistadors that came through New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, parts of California?
That was Cortez people.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Brother Che. Yeah, that was Cortez. Okay, got you. Yes, sir. And then I remember there was a movie. It was a book that I read, a Walter Mosley book, believe it or not, called not The Devil in the Blue Dress. I think it was The Red Scare. Okay, but anyway, there was a part in the book where they took Easy Rawlins and they put him in jail, right? Because they wanted him to talk on something, So he got interviewed by the Latino police lieutenant or whatever, and he's saying that your people and my people are blowing opportunities at theirs for them and stuff like that. You would have to read the book on it, right? Yeah. Okay. And then, not to mention the fact that when Cesar Chavez was doing his thing, with the farm workers, man, black people in the Blacc Panther supported him greatly. Because I remember as a kid, mama quit buying grapes. I want my grapes. No, we can't buy the grapes because of how they're exploiting the migrant workers, as they call them and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? But then to turn around there and spit, in our faces like that, you see. So this is why Hollywood, entertainment, they place so much great emphasis on having division within the black community. Okay. Now, guess what that tells me, Brother Che? I'm going to ask DSB, Deuce and a Quarter if he agrees. They fear our unity, brother. The reason why they fear our unity, because they will fear our organization. They fear our organization is because they're in fear of Revenge, called Revenge.
Yeah, I got Unity for Tariq, Shabaka. I'm so sick of hearing about Unity at this point.
Yeah. And then shout out there to Queen Latifah because they're getting ready. And what you mentioned in your Unity brought back a memory, Brother Che. Queen Latifah, she's getting ready to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you guys.
I thought she already got inducted.
Okay, maybe but I do know because I saw on the net they having a celebration about it because you remember her big record called UNITY.
Yeah.
You know?
That was off the All Hail the Queen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was in 89.
Yeah, it was 89, 90. It was late 80s, early 90s. I would say between 89 and 91, Brother Che, if memory serves me correct.
So I'm going to have to go out and come back in. So y'all hold it down and try to come back.
Okay. All right, so there they go, playing with us again. You know what I'm saying? You know, with these algorithms and stuff like that. Why is it that each time we get on sensitive subjects like this, we start having all these problems? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes black people.
No, Lady Chess, like you said, they shadow banned us with this bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And I really wish it was a way we could sue they stinking asses. You know what I'm saying? You know? And then, because we pay our money for this shit, you know what I mean? We put our time off into it, you know, and all of that. And then, you know, as DSB was saying is that you got this dumpster up here doing this shit over at the Justice Department. He fired Pam Bondi and all this, or who's running and all this old type of shit. And then, you know, when the next time the dumpster gets on the jailbird, they need to land that motherfucker right at the closest federal jail and book him, Daniel. You know what I'm saying? But to quote Brother Che, in a perfect world, you see what I'm saying? And this is definitely not a perfect world, you see? And then the Bisco's DSB, and a quarter coming on my wall, calling me a black racist and all this shit. So I asked the motherfuckers, man, what major industries do I control? What major banks do I control? What major police agencies do I control? You say, so we are in no political or economical situation to implement any type of racism. What the fuck they hate is us, you see, telling the truth like that avatar say. Love is truth if it hurts you, and hate lies, okay, and hate lies even if they help you, okay? Ancient African proverb. You see what I'm saying? And then, you know, there's big business for us to have all this infighting within our community. You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
See, and then off that plantation system, Lady Che, the first thing that they killed was our unity. You see what I mean? That was their first mission, was to kill the unity. Believe in the slave master, the imitation of life. Shit like that, you see. And then when we went out here and saved the goddamn U.S. economy, they still hate on us. It was the black exploitation films of DSB 225 in the early 70s that saved Hollywood. You see? That saved Hollywood. Look how Hollywood parlayed up. You know, when you look at these crazy shows, what is that there? The Browns, Tyler Perry show, Meet the Browns or something like that.
Yeah.
They always come up here with this silly, stupid shit, you know, as opposed to a brother coming up, hey, man, you know, what the fuck can we do for ourselves, this, that, there, the other. You see what I'm saying? But what these Nabiscos don't understand is that if we had black unity, okay, Yeah, I feel you, DSB. I quit making videos, man, because when I was putting mine up there on YouTube, they wasn't getting us, so I tore up all my videos, man, and it took me a lot of years to do that. Yeah, you see, exactly, DSB. What do we control besides nothing? So how can we be racist and we don't control nothing? No, what they fear is us coming together. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Just like how they did to Black Wall Street. They burned down our towns that would have kept America out of debt. Same thing with Rosewood. You see what I'm saying? And what have you. Just like in Oakland, California. You know what I'm saying? I went through Oakland, California the last time, man. It's so blighted, man, I almost broke down and cried. And this is the birthplace of the Blacc Panther Party. You see what I mean? Just like the museum they got up there, DSB, like I told Brother Che, some asshole gonna comment on my damn like page, the Blacc Panther Party. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You see what I'm saying? But we just supposed to sit there, take this shit like Uncle Tim Scott, yas about, you the boss, Bob. Uncle Remus, zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. I got plenty of nothing and nothing's plenty for me. Fuck that shit.
All right, so the story is, don't say the N-word if you're not FBA, period. Don't say nigga. Don't say none of that. Otherwise, you're going to get checked and you might lose a couple teeth.
Yeah, exactly. And you will get your mind right. You see? Okay, and DSB, Houston the Quarter saying, oh yeah, they fear Black unity, just like that white woman got on TV lying saying Black community is the biggest threat to Israel. No, bitch, Iran bombs are the biggest threat to Israel.
Right. Exactly, DSB.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving along to these damn tethers. Talking shit about our brother Tariq Nasheed and FBA. So our brother Water God TV gonna give us an update on these punk ass tethers, Poetik, Flakko, and FD Signifier that have been taking shots at the FBA and Tariq Nasheed.
All right.
So he created this FBA concept. And FBA is basically a group of online weirdos. You can call it a lineage if you want. That's fine. Understand, other people that are connected to your lineage are a group of online weirdos. That there is reason to critique some Black immigrants, especially in the media space, on their anti-Blackness. You can do that. That is a real thing. There is a propensity for behavior to come from Black immigrant populations.
Might have to drop a dime on this. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Stop. I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
All right, y'all, we back with another video, man. Y'all know how we do. Always pushing health, wealth, and a better understanding of self. So check this out in this video, y'all. We're going over Poetik, Flakko, and FD Signifier. They talking down on FBA. Now, we know this ain't nothing new. I just did a video on the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Oh, yeah.
They just got indicted for paying informants, to do these staged events, kind of to scare Black people off. Okay, we kind of already been calling that out on my channel. They doing these staged events just to try to keep us intact. So a lot of influence is going on. Now, I never heard of this guy, FD Signifier. I seen his face. He got a big following in Poetik, Flakko. Poetik made a great case. I'm going to break down some things that he said. But this FD Signifier guy, I think that they're being paid to discredit a grassroots movement. See, Tariq Nasheed has Black people that's funding his projects. And the last thing that, you know, these big businesses need is for Black people to realize that they can fund their own projects. To me personally, this is the real reason behind all of this FBA talk, because it's uniting people and it's making Black people understand that they need to stick together and start pooling their resources together. This is what Tariq Nasheed is doing, is waking up other Black people, in my opinion. So now we got people that have to call Tariq Nasheed a grifter. We just had Omar Johnson just said that he created a group to go against FBA. I forget what it's called, is DFA, something about descendants of Africans here in America. Nobody has called that out yet. Okay, we have, you know, people but nobody else, none of these people aren't saying anything about Dr. Umar. Why are they talking about Tariq Nasheed? We know that this is paid informants. These are paid, you know, discredit ads that's going to stop people from pulling their money together. This is just what I think. Now I'm gonna play y'all a little bit of Poetik, Flakko, and FD Signifier. I wanna know what y'all think. Check it out.
FD Signifier just went crazy, crashed out, and unleashed on Tariq Nasheed. Now, watching this video, I was torn because on one hand, I'm African. So for clear and obvious reasons, you could see why I would be rooting in favor of FD Signifiers and Cam James' ideology. But then on the other hand, I'm friends with Tariq Nasheed, if y'all even think that's possible. FD made some pretty strong declarations during this video. He will label and declare Tariq Nasheed's group, FBA, as white supremacist and blackface. He would even make a comparison between FBA and Trump's MAGA and FBA and Nick Fuentes' America's First, claiming they're one of the same. They're the same group of people, just different skin tones. Tariq Nasheed has said that FBA is not a group, is actually a description for a group of people, you know, who share the same lineage. That's his explanation for it. Now, I'll be real. I feel like you kind of have to say it's not a group, because once you start labeling something a group, once you start saying this is a group, well, a group has to have a leader. And then once you identify yourself as the leader, you're now responsible for that group. So let's just say somebody who identifies as FBA goes out and do something very horrible. Right now, the federal government is looking at Tariq Nasheed and looking at the group now and trying to put, you know, identifiers on it. So it's very smart to say it's not a group.
All right, so Poetik, Flakko gonna say it's very smart not to call it a group. But is it a group, Flakko? Stop saying it's smart or it's not. It's not a group. It's not a group of people. There's nobody having meetings and anything like that. There's no chapters. So it's like, we gotta call it what it is. Stop saying it's not a lineage, it's a group. It's like, y'all just really mad. We're hearing it from people that are mad and they don't like the names that FBA been calling them. This is, I think, you know, some of the reason. Part of it is they're getting paid, but it's not a group. Stop trying to make it fit into a group. Just be real with yourself and say it's not a group. Poetik trying to say it's smart that it's not a group so nobody don't go to jail. It's like, I'm already hearing suspect behavior.
Now, FD would also go in on Tariq Nasheed, claiming that Tariq Nasheed is a fraud and a grifter, and he doesn't like him and never liked him.
But no, I'm not. I don't have any Jamaican, Nigerian, Caribbean, or African direct descents.
Said earlier, here's the official FBA website. I told y'all he built this, and at the bottom it says Foundational Black Americans. Let's throw that joint in the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office site, and boom. That's your boy, right? Just in case you needed more proof, the earliest recorded mention of the site's URL happened on October 7th of 2020, when he was trying to sell y'all FBA mini flags. The earliest mention of the term is hard to pinpoint, but he was using it on another one of his sites in 2019. Here's proof of him creating the term in the first place, claiming he adapted it from Dr. Claude Anderson's Native Black Americans term. The FBA movement started as Tangibles 2020 in the lead up to the 2020 election.
Man, we don't need to be on no 80. So that's the first thing, because people be like, FBA is a lineage. And it's like, if you're telling me y'all made up a new term, I get you, but it was made by King Grifter. Let's start that out first. This video is now top 10 reasons I own FBA ADOS. in no particular order. Number one is everything FBA is as a record label, a crew, a clique, and a crew. Everything that's ever been done by Tariq Nasheed is awful, just because he's involved with it. I don't care if Tariq Nasheed saved 2 babies from a burning building. Like, I'm happy those babies are alive, but it would have been better if he sacrificed himself in the process. Okay? Tariq Nasheed is King Griffin. I talked about him a long time ago. I'm going to have to come back to it now.
All right, so he said that he did a video before on Tariq Nasheed, but now all of a sudden he has to come back to it. Now, y'all seen we had 19 Keys, we had James Small, we got all of these people one after another. They're not all doing it at the same time. They're using new people to keep it going. It's like they need this pressure on calling Tariq Nasheed a grifter to keep Black people from pooling their resources together. Y'all, you can't make this up. This is the real. There's no other reason for him to be calling out a Black man, a grifter that has Black people supporting his projects. There's no reason.
But he's just been like an awful dude for years at this point. And he was connected to another group, ATTACCS, which started out as something that a lot of people seemed cool with, but over time eventually showed his ass. And we'll talk about that later. So he created this FBA concept. And FBA is basically a group of online weirdos. You can call it a lineage if you want. That's fine. Understand, other people that are connected to your lineage are a group of online weirdos.
Now, objectively speaking, Tariq Nasheed has done something positive. He's done Hidden Colors. Hidden Colors, before the internet, had no negative reviews. Like, Hidden Colors went triple platinum in the Black community. My question is, with Tariq Nasheed's current messaging, does that take away from Hidden Colors? Because Hidden Colors, for the most part, is a Pan-African film. It's acknowledging we all started here, but we're at all ends of the globes, and it's important to connect with the diaspora. Like, that's what Hidden Colors was about, right? Where Tariq Nasheed goes and he shows, yo, Africans exist here, Africans exist here, Africans exist somewhere in Asia, right?
Okay, first of all, the first Hidden Colors wasn't even about Africa. It was about the Aboriginal history here in Americas. What he's referring to is the second Hidden Colors, which was about where we're at all over the globe. So he's already given misinformation already. You can tell he don't know what the hell he's talking about. I got all the Hidden Colors, and I've seen them all. And like I said, the first one was about the Aboriginal history of America and the Moors. It had nothing to do with Africa. The second one was about Africa. It had Runoko Rashidi in it, and it had Dr. Umar Johnson in it. So he don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
Okay. We're all over the planet, and it's important to connect with our people. But Tariq Nasheed currently, you can say, is an isolationist. So if you're an isolationist, does that interfere with how Hidden Colors is going to age to his audience? But FD will blankly call the FBA dudes weirdos. Now, I'm very hesitant, even though you can look at the online activity and probably come to that conclusion. I'm very hesitant to label and describe a group of people based on a niche community online. Because what FD is talking about, he's talking about the dudes who are on Twitter, where they're under the comment section of every immigrant calling us racial slurs, right? Calling us tethers, right? The tether hairline, right? Now, they will say that tether is an actual description of an immigrant who come here to cosplay as a Black American. That's what they will say. But then they say tether hairline. Oh, tether babble. Tether this, tether that, right? Like, you wouldn't say tether hairline if it was not a racial slur, right? If it was a description for somebody who come here and cosplay as a Black American, then like you would use it as it's defined. The minute you start to use it outside of the actual definition and description, it then becomes a racial slur because you're using it to dehumanize somebody.
This is crazy. So now they saying they want to categorize tether as a racial slur, when it's different races that can get that name tether. Okay, not just melanated people. We don't call Spanish people, white people tethers. Like, what are they talking about? I think that they just want to be a part so bad that they feel like now they want to use racial slurs of when we try to call out somebody that's cosplaying us. It's real, Flakko. I'm sorry. If people cosplayed your people and your culture, you will understand where we're coming from. But now it just seems like y'all trying to push racial slurs to try to get people from saying tether, but it's not going to stop.
Based on what? You know, like their lineage or the country they're from. And it's wrong, right? It's wrong. But I don't know how many, FBA members or people who identify as FBAs, I don't know how many of them truly identify with the online activity.
They're like black 4chaners, black Reddit energy, a bunch of white nationalists and blackface. You say they ain't just online, I'll take your word for it. I've never encountered these niggas in the wild. Now, they may flow into different versions of hotepery, which has always been here, but the people that like brand themselves with ADOS are just a lot of online weirdos. So,
ADOS, man, we need to be banned.
It was 2020.
Let's listen to that one more time.
2020 election.
Man, we don't need to be on no ADOS, man. We need to be Pan-African. That's what Pan-Africanism is. Us fight for everybody else to come over here and get some of the resources that we've helped accumulate for them, and then they turn around and say, okay, thank you, Wakata, and I'm about to go work with these white people.
Back then, Tariq was in lock.
There's so much to unpack there. Tragedy. Let's first stillman where some of this comes from and talk about that term, Akata. A term I literally, my entire life, I just told y'all I grew up around Nigerians. I have never heard that term my entire life in real life. I've never heard that term my entire life. I am 43 years old. Yeah. I grew up around Nigerians. I hung with Africans, dated the baddest Sierra Leonean chick at my school, at Clark. Never got hate from Africans in any form or fashion.
Okay, so he bring up a term that Tethers use against us, and he doesn't have the same energy. See, it's not the same energy when people do this to us. That's how we know this is political. This isn't just FD Signifier didn't have to do a video about this. He got 1 million. They say he has 1 million followers. I don't know, but why would you have to do a video out this blue about Tariq Nasheed? It's not like it's a lot of people that's creating content for FBA. They don't even follow what Tariq Nasheed, his content. We just support our people when they're doing something, just like we support Mr. Tendenism. We're supporting our people right now, and this is bringing bad results in the market, especially for Pan-Africans, for everybody that think that they're going to be benefiting off of us. Their gig is up.
But the problem with this is FD is undermining the experiences of a large group of people, right? If a large group is telling you, hey, we experienced this at the hands of these group of people, then it will be silly to say, no, you didn't, because my experiences were positive. If their experiences were not positive, then that's fair, right? They have a right to express, hey, I was called a Kata, hey, I was called this. They have a right to express it. But what I do think is often done is they will want their experience.
They call me that bullshit.
They will say, hey, this happened to me. These immigrants be undermining us. They're pompous. They treat us like this. And that's fair, right? That's the lived experience. But then an immigrant will say, hey, I was called, like African booty scratcher. Hey, I was called this growing up. Hey, I was called this growing up.
First of all, everybody that was black was called African booty scratcher. That's just can miss us with that bullshit.
Right, and that's why I go in on the Nabiscos and the troglodytes, brother Che. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but we called each other that.
Yeah,
we called each other a lot of ugly names.
Yeah, but we were kids. I mean, it was nothing serious. We played the dozens. We wrote each other. We did all of that stuff. So
right, we can't believe that this still hurt behind some of that shit. I mean. They was wrong with it too. Talking about motherfuckers hair and the ashiness of their knees. Yeah. I mean, it went back and forth.
Right.
I don't see how. I don't think any of that shit changed me as an adult. I'm still cool with it.
Right. It just made us stronger, but apparently it made these mothers weaker. So they're still harping on something that was said to them in 1980, 1990 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
once again,
those
during the
really
time of the
means me
crack
for being
epidemic.
African. Hey, y'all did this. And then the FBA will say, man, stop it, bro. Man, bro, stop lying, bro. Man, what you mean, bro? What? So when you got teased as a kid, that's it? Nah, man, all right, bro. And it's like, damn, okay. So if we're able to acknowledge your lived experience, you're incapable of acknowledging their lived experience? I've always said, yo,
all right, DSB
Africans who are
225.
anti-Black exist. Jamaicans who are anti-Black exist. Immigrants who are anti-Black exist.
All right, so Flakko made a great point. It is a lot of Caribbeans, Africans, they are anti-Black. But what we're trying to say, what I'm trying to say is, if you are anti-Black against a grassroots movement, that's a different type of anti-Black. It's okay that you like, man, you don't like, it's your preference where you don't like Americans. It's something that you've been through. But when you go out and you try to tear down a grassroots movement that we're trying to do and tear down somebody's name, it's more hate that we feel like is politicized hate. With these 19 kids, with these guys that claim that they're so intellectual, it's like we know that Steve Copley taught us well, and he taught us that the little hats like to control, brothers who they educate.
But there are also, right, Black Americans who were born and raised here who are also anti-Black. But somehow, I think FBA is holding all immigrants for the actions and the sins of a specific group, of a very small group of people who are anti-Black. And it's like, hold on, if we held all native-born Black Americans to the crimes and sins of a select few who are anti-Black, that would be unfair. So why do it to us?
I'm not saying it don't exist.
First off, motherfucker, we talking about the tether class. This has been made perfectly clear numerous times. So now they're just playing dumb. And he knows Tariq, so he already know what Tariq been saying. Tariq said, look, we're not talking about the whole diaspora. We're not talking about all immigrants. We're talking about the tether class that exists within the immigrants. Not all immigrants are tethers, but every tether is an immigrant. So when they try to make this comparison, it's a fallacy. It really is.
I'm saying is FBA people will make you think that ATTACCS is some type of like deeply rooted anti-Black slur that they grew up singing Negro spirituals about. ADOS and FBA people think Nigerians are the Black Targaryens. Or what were the actual Black Targaryens? They were the Valerians. That's who ADOS actually think Nigerians are. Real talk. They talk about Nigerians like they're supervillains. It's hilarious. They talk about being called ATTACCS as if African booty.
And he keeps trying to compare us to ADOS. We don't have nothing to do with goddamn ADOS. ADOS is an organization. It's an LGBTQ-led organization at that. We have no dealings with ADOS. But he keeps trying to make this false comparison between FBA and ADOS.
Scratch wasn't a comeback. So Juicy made a very good video about this now 4 years ago, right? And Juicy's I love Juicy's analysis. Juicy's very balanced, but very principled. I'm gonna just put this in the description or whatever. If you want to talk about that there is reason to critique some Black immigrants, especially in the media space, on their anti-Blackness, you can do that. That is a real thing. There is a propensity for behavior to come from Black immigrant populations. Oh, there's critiques to make about Black immigrant populations and specifically their relationship with the media and how they're amplified in media. There's definitely a conversation about that. There's a conversation to have about anti-Blackness from those populations because there is a propensity for anti-Blackness. Because first off, anti-Blackness, as I said in another video, everybody's got anti-Blackness in them. Every single last one of us. Now you're either actively negotiating and fighting against it internally, you're actively resisting anti-Black tendencies, or you just actively are in it, or you act like you don't, but you do. That's just the reality of the situation. Nobody is immune to conditioning of the media and how we're meant to look and think of Blackness, regardless of if that Blackness is American born or internationally born. And so what happens, I talked about this with Foreign Man years ago as well, is that when you are a Black, but you're not from America, it's easy to just assume that Black Americans are just out our minds. My parents are Jamaican. They grew me and my siblings up with the whole Black Americans are ghetto. They don't have a culture like us. Thankfully, me and most Americanized siblings have been able to change their mind. Yeah, because that's what's taught outside of America. America exports an image of Black Americans to be this.
So he just admitted that he's a Jamaican teller. If his parents is Jamaican, then his ass is Jamaican. So he can mess us with this. Everything he's talking about is just bullshit.
Deranged, uncivilized, barbaric thing to incentivize the idea that we are deserving of our treatment and condition here. They have to present us like this to the world. The world will be looking at what they're doing to us like, how is this something y'all are doing? Why is this supposed to be cool? People fall in line with that. And it takes a generation to be here to realize, oh, wait, no. Foreign Man's talked about this before. He was like, yo, when I came from the Bahamas to Iowa, of all places, I had a particular belief and disposition toward Black Americans that something was wrong with y'all. And after spending a little bit of time in this space and how I was regarded, it started to make sense. But not everybody has that. The crux of how this diaspora wars 80 started is a response to what is ultimately a white supremacist tactic to pit foreign-born Black people against domestically born Black Americans.
Okay, so FD Signifier, he explains that it is a narrative that white supremacy pushing Black immigrants, and I don't mean that, I don't like to say Black immigrants, melanated immigrants come to America, and their ideology about Black people is negative from what they want them to believe. So think about that. So why would you be calling out FBA, right? When you know that there is definitely a connection with white supremacy and brainwashing melanated people to look at Black Americans in a way to where it could even be disrespectful. If they tricked you that bad, you need to be called out. It's a need for this. That's off-code behavior. And instead of you talking about FBA people of, you know, calling people out, why aren't you calling out these people? Why aren't y'all saying anything about the immigrants that take the side of white supremacy and talk bad about Black Americans? Y'all don't speak up on it. So we're gonna keep stepping in what we're doing because we feel that this is right. We feel like we're doing God's work. Okay, there's no reason why y'all shouldn't be calling out your own, just like we call out our own. If FBA is doing something off code, just like we did with 19 Keys, James Smalls, any of these guys, we're calling them out. Y'all don't call out your coons. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I had to go over this. I'm a little late on this video. Y'all know we are going live tonight and tomorrow. We getting ready for that meet and greet. I appreciate everybody who tapping in. I will catch y'all on the next video. Peace and love.
A community must have three things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax bases for your own people. You should at least control 4 basic things. You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive and compete.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.
All right, Shabaka. What are your thoughts on your way out?
Okay, man, is once again they keep perpetuating this division and self-hatred amongst ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just like the counterintelligence program, man, all over again.
How
Except
so?
now
We weren't together to begin with. That would make
Yeah.
sense. We're together to begin with, but we've never been
Right.
together to begin with. So
Right. And then just the mere mention of getting together, you know, alerts them. You see what I'm saying? So basically, for all practical purposes, what you just described, Brother Che, is a preemptive strike. You see? So which means is, well, we don't know for sure if you all really are, but if you are, do come together, it'll be detrimental to us. So therefore, you know, we're going to shore it up to put a preemptive strike into it. You know, that's my opinion. Does that make sense?
it makes that kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it don't make sense because these people, they come over here already with these preconceived notions about us. We're the main ones that's been trying to build with them and accept them into the community and all of that. They don't come with the notions that come with that tribalism that they had on the continent, and they bring that shit.
Yeah, like the broad that we did a few months back. Oh, I'm just here to take.
Yeah, and they don't call out the ones that's just here to take. They let them. So now that we're checking, we're the problem.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You know? Yeah. And that's the truth, you know what I'm saying?
What are your thoughts, Lady Che?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think everybody's always trying to grift off of fucking Tariq Nasheed. I think that they lack creativity and they gotta find a reason to grip and use his name and badmouth him, when in reality, you should be singing his praises because he gave us so much.
Right.
You know what I mean? He gave us so much, and yet everybody want to talk shit about this lineage thing. Is it jealousy? Is it just because you're bored at home? Like, what the fuck is the problem? Like,
right.
I don't get it. You know what I mean? You see, it should be unfazed. Like, we should just not even listen to this kind of shit. Like, why they get canceled? People wonder why they get canceled and whatnot. It's because they bad mouthing someone who's giving us so much. I could see you bad mouthing Dr. Umar didn't give a shit. But Tariq's giving us like movies, books, a whole holiday, a lineage to work for.
Not to mention funerals and things, bro.
Codified language, a push towards what the demands of the Black agenda is.
And FBA was based off of NBA.
I mean, so not to mention, look how much creativity has came out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Much creativity has come out of lineage and whatnot. So I think that these fuckers are just jealous or bored at home. You're not making good content. So, what'll make good content is you shit talking on a living legend.
Right. Say hi to mommy, Ruru.
You giving us music, a whole bunch of shit. Children's books, deodorant. Documentary after documentary, a whole fucking museum. Not just talk about it, but actually did it. Got a movie in the works.
Right.
Like, what's the problem? Like, you just hating? You hate on everything that was, and not just he didn't do it. He did it, but the Black grassroots did it.
Right.
Most of these projects were funded by the Black grassroots.
Salute, Matt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Lady Che. You know what I'm saying? You're right. Hey, Mac 285. Mac 285 is in the building, you know.
Yeah, shout out to Mac 285.
Yeah, so I shared the YouTube link and I had to do it the hard way, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the fuck is going on with these damn algorithms, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, StreamYard and YouTube been acting up.
Yeah, man, because these motherfuckers, okay, like Malcolm said, man, the black community has the highest amount of police, and yet it has the highest amount of crime. But yet, though, man, surely the cops must be in cahoots with the criminals. Okay, Mac 285 said, okay, they dismissed this case yesterday. Good, Mac 285, good. And you say the punk ass cop didn't show up? Love it. That means that motherfucker couldn't get his lies straight. You know what I'm saying? Mac 285, motherfucker couldn't get his lies straight. I've been through that bullshit too, you know?
Me too. Smack.
And then the cold part about it is, black family, ask yourself this, and I'm saying this here in my closing, Brother Che.
Okay.
If these other groups hate us so fucking bad, why do they want to have sex with us?
Because they want to contaminate the gene pool.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. Then they want to claim on to, as you say, Brother Che, the lineage. This is why I keep telling people, go see that movie Imitation of Life and go see Band of Angels and prepare yourself. It will piss you off.
Yeah.
Every now and then I use it as shock therapy. But do you know fucking YouTube, man, is charging you now to watch that movie Band of Angels, the lousy motherfuckers?
Yeah.
And it will piss you off, you know? So on that note there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bid everybody a good day. Thank you for having me with Grand Rising, with Shabaka's and the Chase. You know what I'm saying? And the air date of this episode is April 24th, 2026. Okay, Mac 285 says, you know, I'm watching the Imitation MJ movie. Oh, that bullshit. Yeah. Peace to you, Mac 285. I've been hearing a bunch of shit about that MJ movie too. You know.
What you been hearing?
Okay. Well, they supposed to be having his so-called quote-unquote daughter play one of his sisters or whatever, and then when you look at this motherfucker, you don't see no relation between her and Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but they had his nephew play him.
They had who play him?
His nephew.
Yeah. Okay. His nephew, like from one of his brothers, right?
Yeah.
Or Latoya or Janet or what have you.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Okay. And you're right, Mac 285. He didn't need a movie. His life was documented more than any other man. Mac 285, you're right. That's the same thing they did with Muhammad Ali as well, too. And they were both contemporaries.
Yeah.
You see, meaning they existed in the same points in time. You know what I'm saying?
We're back.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. Okay, folks. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Shabaka, on your way out.
Yeah, okay, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. And yeah, Mac 285, it is all about greed. You know what I'm saying? Particularly in a place about Hollywood, you know, New York City as well, too. So we thank everybody, you know, from coming on. Please share this link out, the YouTube link that Brother Che posted, because it is bringing up our algorithms, you know what I'm saying? So please share it out. And then when you get stupid motherfuckers, you know, who wants to comment negatively on it on your social media, just delete and block the tricks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just pop them upside the head with that wrench, oops upside your head. Say oops upside your head. And by the way, punk ass Regal, you know, we ain't been seeing your sorry ass, man. So hopefully that ragged ass Mercedes Benz of yours broke down in the desert, you son of a bitch. You know. And I hate to have to say that. No, really though, brother Chet, I hate having to be ignorant like this, but sometimes that's some of the only thing a stupid motherfucker like Regal will understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hate to do it. You know what I'm saying? Hate to do it, man. But that motherfucker ain't gonna come up here with his bullshit, man, calling me all kind of foul crap, and I'm just supposed to sit there and say, yeah, the boss, yeah, man, you right. Bullshit. I ain't that kind of a fool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. What did you say, Mac? 285, beware, he might return. Man, that motherfucker don't want none of this heat, man. He really don't. That's why he runs off with his moist ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got to set up another troll account. He gonna set up another troll account because we got him blocked. Every time he set up an account, it get blocked.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? You know. And I hate to have to talk about this dude like this. And then also, too, and I'm saying this here, Brother Che, I already told you this, you know, for our audience. There was a dude that I unfriended on Facebook that was a businessman, right? I'm not going to say his name. Okay. So we was talking about the Black community, and he's talking about he owns 4 liquor stores. So I told this trick, I says, man, you worse than a dope dealer, man, because you sitting up there, man, putting shit in the Black community to countermand the Black community. But you own 4 liquor stores. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, they need to check a case out of Oakland, California about a damn liquor store. You know what I'm saying, Brother Che, about 2018, I think. You know? And then also, too, Brother Che, you know, in your spare time when you get a chance, man, try to review that material on Khalil Ali. Take what is useful and leave what is useless, because she has like about 12 clips on it, you know, of her involvement with the heavyweight champion at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting a bunch of pings on my phone, you know, so I don't know what that means. But anyway, I'm out, y'all. Okay, so thanks for having me. Okay, y'all have a safe weekend. All right, Brother Tech.
See you tomorrow for Front Line.
Yes, sir. All right, take care.
All right, so we'll move on to the last 2 topics, and that is the untold Black massacres they erased from every textbook, and Shamar, Elkins, mentally ill or straight up evil.
The stories we've been told about American history often skip the darkest chapters. These stories tell of victory and valor, of brave leaders and noble causes. But beneath those bright pages lies a shadow most classrooms barely touch. In the decades after the Civil War, liberated Black communities across the country won new rights and built their own schools, churches, and businesses. But each time Black Americans stepped forward to claim the rights promised to them, armed white mobs gathered to push them back. These were organized attacks, often carried out in broad daylight, with the clear goal of crushing Black political power and terrorizing entire communities. Homes were burned, ballot boxes were destroyed, families were hunted. In town after town, progress was answered with bloodshed. While history books may celebrate heroic generals or bold legislation, they usually sidestep what happened on the ground. A string of brutal massacres of Black people. In this video, we'll be exploring those hidden massacres from the Reconstruction South to the segregated Jim Crow era. Because in order to know where we truly stand today, we have to face what was done in the past and look directly at the parts of American history that were deliberately kept in the dark. Before we begin, we want to let you know that many unfiltered discussions like this are increasingly difficult to keep visible on this platform. Our videos have been experiencing reduced reach, which means important historical stories often do not reach the people who want to hear them. Because of that, we created a space outside the algorithm. If you want to stay updated on our latest videos and also receive content we cannot always post here, Join our WhatsApp group through the link in the description. It is the best way to stay connected with our community and make sure you do not miss future releases. Now let's begin. In Grant Parish, Louisiana, tension had been building for months. Before Easter Sunday, 1873, Reconstruction governments, backed by newly enfranchised Black voters and federal authority, had taken office across the South. In Colfax, a disputed state election left two rival governments claiming power. Black citizens, many of them formerly enslaved, supported the Republican ticket that had been certified as lawful. Fearing that white Democrats would seize control by force, a group of Black militia members and local supporters gathered at the parish courthouse to defend the elected officials. Few could have known that what followed would not be peaceful political discussion, but a calculated assault that would carve its brutality into the pages of American history forever. On April 13, 1873, a force of roughly 300 armed white men, including former Confederate soldiers and members of white radical groups such as the Ku Klux Klan, advanced on the courthouse. They brought rifles, pistols, and even a small cannon. The Black defenders, estimated at around 60 to 100 men, were outnumbered and outgunned. After hours of gunfire, the attackers set the courthouse ablaze and fired the cannon into the building. Surrounded by flames and smoke, the defenders eventually raised a white flag in surrender. But the violence did not end there. As Black men fled the burning building or surrendered, many were captured, disarmed, and executed. Survivors later testified that prisoners were shot at close range, some in the back of the head. Others were hunted down in nearby fields and woods. By the time it was over, approximately 150 Black men were dead. Only 3 white attackers were reported killed. The massacre was quickly reframed in local newspapers as a riot, implying mutual aggression rather than one-sided slaughter. In reality, it was a calculated act meant to crush Black political participation and restore white democratic control. Federal authorities eventually charged 97 white men under the Enforcement Acts, laws designed to curb racial terror. A handful were convicted. But in 1876, the United States Supreme Court overturned those convictions in United States versus Cruikshank, ruling that the federal government had limited power to prosecute individuals for civil rights violations. That decision severely weakened federal efforts to combat white supremacist violence and signaled the unraveling of Reconstruction. Colfax became a turning point. It demonstrated that organized racial terror could succeed without lasting consequences. For Black Louisianans and many others across the South, it was a brutal lesson that political rights on paper meant little without protection in practice. Soon, similar scenes replayed elsewhere. In 1876 in Hamburg, South Carolina, tensions flared after a minor 4th of July dispute between white residents and members of a Black militia unit. What could have been resolved locally was instead inflamed by white rifle clubs determined to reassert political control. Hundreds of armed white men surrounded the Black militia's armory. After a standoff and exchanges of gunfire, the Black defenders surrendered under the promise of safety. That promise was hollow. Several freedmen were taken prisoner, marched away from the scene, and executed. Across the South during the 1870s, groups such as the Red Shirts in the Carolinas and Mississippi and the White League in Louisiana functioned as organized political militias for the Democratic Party. They rode openly with weapons, disrupted Republican meetings, assaulted elected officials, and used targeted killings to suppress Black turnout. By 1877, federal troops had gone home, and Jim Crow segregation was imposed. The memories of those violent nights were quickly buried. Decades later, historical markers and monuments honored the white attackers as defenders of order and accused Black citizens of rebellion. In Colfax, Louisiana, a 1920 monument was erected bearing the inscription, "Erected to the memory of the heroes who fell in the Colfax riot fighting for white supremacy." Meanwhile, in many textbooks, the massacres were minimized or framed as riots, suggesting mutual blame. A stark turn came 25 years after Colfax in the coastal city of Wilmington, North Carolina, 1898.
Oh my
Here,
gosh.
an integrated government of Black and white leaders ran the city peacefully. blacks held the mayor's office, the treasurer's office, and ran banks and newspapers. White supremacists refused to believe this could last. On November 10th, a planned armed uprising swept the city. A white mob burned the offices of the Daily Record, Wilmington's black-owned newspaper, and shouted for black officials to resign. They shot and killed dozens of black residents. Estimates say at least 60 men, possibly more, sent others fleeing into the swamps, and forced the black mayor and aldermen to step down at gunpoint. By dawn, the city's leaders had been overthrown. White terrorists had executed the only successful coup, d'état in American history. Afterwards, hundreds of black families fled Wilmington under threat of death. The official record called it a race riot or Negro insurrection, blaming black people for the violence. It took a century before historians recognized Wilmington 1898 as the calculated massacre and coup that it was. Only in recent years have schools begun to teach the truth, that terrified black citizens were the victims, not the instigators of mass murder and political overthrow. 20 years after Wilmington, a wave of post-war racial terror swept through the South during the Red Summer of 1919. In the Arkansas Delta in late September 1919 at Elaine, African-American sharecroppers' hopes for justice ended in blood. Hundreds of black farmers had gathered at a church meeting house to organize for better cotton prices. When hostile white men tried to disrupt the meeting, a shootout broke out in which one white security officer died. The local sheriff labeled it an insurrection. What followed was a massacre. By early October, between 500 and 1,000 armed white men, plantation guards, deputized vigilantes, and neighbors descended on Elaine, searching for Union members and any black person in sight. Federal troops eventually arrived, but only after the killing was done. White witnesses later testified that mob members hunted African Americans like a game. By the time the gunfire finally stopped, historians estimate that between 100 and 200 black men, women, and children had been killed in and around Elaine. White officials at the time claimed that only 2 black people had died, a number that defied eyewitness accounts and later research. At least 30 homes were burned to the ground. Families fled into nearby swamps and woods, hiding for days without food, afraid that any movement would draw more gunfire. No white attacker was ever convicted. Instead, the legal system turned its force against the survivors. Local authorities arrested 122 black residents and charged them with murder and insurrection. 12 men were sentenced to death in rushed proceedings marked by intimidation and all-white juries. It was only through the intervention of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and the relentless appeals led by black attorneys that those death sentences were ultimately overturned by the United States Supreme Court. The Elaine Massacre, the deadliest racial slaughter in Arkansas history, remained largely absent from textbooks for decades. When it was mentioned at all, it was often described as a farmer's riot, a phrase that blurred the truth. The Elaine Massacre, the deadliest racial slaughter in Arkansas history, remained largely absent from textbooks for decades. When it was mentioned at all, it was often described as a farmer's riot, a phrase that blurred the truth. The violence was not a spontaneous uprising. In reality, it was the mass killing of black sharecroppers who had organized to demand fair payment for their labor. Then came Tulsa, Oklahoma in late May 1921. The massacre, now arguably the most infamous that most Americans still largely didn't learn in school. In Tulsa's Greenwood district, often called Black Wall Street, African Americans had built a thriving community of shops, churches, schools, and hotels. On the night of May 31st, a rumor of a white woman's scream in an elevator inflamed Tulsa's white residents. By the next morning, organized white mobs, many deputized as special police, invaded Greenwood as if on a military operation. They flew over the district in airplanes, dropping incendiary devices. They machine-gunned families on their porches. They looted, bombed, and burned some 35 square blocks of homes and businesses. In a span of about 18 hours, the heart of Greenwood was razed. More than 1,000 buildings lay in ashes. Credible estimates put the death toll somewhere between 50 and 300 African-American men, women, and children. The city officially listed only 36 victims, but investigators now say the true number will never be known as bodies were thrown into unmarked graves in the river. Thousands Of survivors were forced into makeshift internment camps under armed guard. Afterwards, Tulsa's business leaders pledged to rebuild Greenwood, but then quietly imposed new building codes and mortgages designed to prevent it. The city never offered compensation for the losses. Perpetrators faced no indictments. For nearly 3/4 of a century, the Tulsa Massacre was a blank space in textbooks and local memory. It was taught, if at all, as a race riot blamed on Black citizens. Only in the 1990s did survivor accounts and a state commission break the silence, uncovering graves in unmarked Tulsa plots. As one federal report later concluded, the white mob's attack was so systematic and coordinated that it transcended mere mob violence. Today, the Tulsa Massacre remains a symbol of how quickly prosperity and lives could be lost when racial hatred was unleashed, and how thoroughly it was hidden from history for decades. Less than 2 years after Tulsa, Florida saw the same nightmare. In Rosewood, an all-Black mill town of about 200 people, a similar accusation of assault by a white woman led to revenge. On January 1st, 1923, white vigilantes flooded Rosewood. For several days, they burned homes and churches, shot Black residents fleeing the flames, and lynched any they could. At least 6 Black inhabitants were killed, and 2 whites accidentally lost their lives. Terrified survivors escaped into the swamp, hiding for days until the mob's fury died down. By mid-January, Rosewood was wiped off the map. The town's name vanished from school books. In fact, its existence barely surfaced until a Tampa reporter reopened the case in 1982. Only then did Florida admit the truth, authorizing in 1994 a landmark bill of compensation, $150,000 each to the few surviving victims, plus college scholarships for descendants. But by that point, nearly everyone involved had passed on, and most of Rosewood's story had been told too late. All of these events share a grim pattern. Each happened when Black people dared to vote, own land, or form institutions. Each was crushed by a deliberate outburst of white violence. Countless other incidents fit this mold. In the 1920 election in Florida, a Jim Crow mob drove every Black resident of Ocoee from town. In 1919 alone, there were violent attacks on Black neighborhoods in Chicago, D.C., Knoxville, and dozens of other cities. In the late 1800s, Black towns in Georgia, Mississippi, and elsewhere were assaulted with little fanfare. Yet very few are covered in standard textbooks. In fact, after these massacres, the official story usually blamed Black communities for insurrection or rioting. Even though all of these happened years ago, these omissions still matter very much today. The violence of the Reconstruction era and the early 20th century was part of a national project to restore racial hierarchy after slavery's end. By erasing these stories, textbooks whitewash history, hiding how severely Black Americans have been targeted. Acknowledging the full truth is the only way for our community to truly heal. Yes, these massacres are not just problems of the past, because their legacies echo in the present. Jim Crow laws, segregated neighborhoods, and distrust in institutions trace back to these tragic moments. Remembering Colfax, Wilmington, Elaine, Tulsa, and Rosewood is an act of justice to the victims. It forces America to confront how the rule of law once failed them and demands that history teachers tell the whole story. In revising and correcting the record, we honor those whose lives and dreams were destroyed. No longer can we afford to let their blood disappear from our pages. These chapters, once erased, must now be taught so that every student knows how close our nation came to repeating unthinkable violence and why preventing it remains our collective responsibility. Before you go, just a quick reminder about the WhatsApp group we mentioned earlier. If you want to stay connected with our community, receive updates on new videos, and access content we cannot always post here, you can join through the link in the description. It is one of the best ways to keep these conversations going, even when the algorithm limits how far these stories can reach. If this video opened your eyes, don't let that awareness fade after you close this platform. Take a moment to like this video so more people can see it. Share it with someone else who deserves to learn the truth. Because understanding how close this nation came to normalizing mass racial violence is not just a historical trivia. It is not about dwelling in sorrow or pointing fingers across generations. It is about recognizing how easily injustice can be justified when it is wrapped in the language of order or tradition. Remembering these tragic events is how we make sure they never happen again. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in our next unfiltered discussion.
Community.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. That was actually my first time watching it. When I was looking for like video clips that I wanted to incorporate in here, this was the longest one. So I had no idea what they were going to show. They went over the timeline of everything happening. So as you saw in the timeline, all of this happened early in the morning. This all happened before 7 a.m. This all happened within an hour, like within an hour, hour and a half. He was the last to go because they said a little after 7, that's when he was pronounced deceased. And based on what I'm reading in the chat, this was a domestic situation between him and his wife. They were in the process of getting a divorce. And then, you know, everything went left field. And then he ended up snapping, and he took it out not only on her, but he took it out on all the kids. And then he got taken out. And I think Noam King just mentioned it in the chat about, you know, Justin Fairfax, because he was someone I talked about in my weekly recap last Saturday, and how the situation there was him and his wife was going through a messy divorce, and they were doing court soon, but he was like, no, not soon enough. And he ended up taking out his wife and then took out himself while the kids were in the home. The crazy part about it is a lot of this stuff happens more often than people care to admit. It's just that this one went reported because it was hard to ignore. It was one of those it wasn't one of those situations where it was a dispute where he took his life and then he took her life and then took his life. No, he took out the kids too. So that had to become headlines. With Justin Fairfax, he was a politician, so that was going to make headlines regardless. Alicia said it was rumored that, well, I don't know how true that is, but the point is, whether it is or not, two things is going on here. One, he's deceased. So if it was true, he took it to his grave. And the other is those kids are gone. They're not coming back. They lost their lives at a person that they called their father. Shoot, some of them were his kids, because to my knowledge, and someone in the chat can let me know, I think they were like a blended family, because I believe some of the kids were his with her, and some of the kids were hers with another guy. But they just lived like a blended family. All 8 of those kids were not his. That's what I'm trying to figure out, Kendrick. Are you talking about Justin Fairfax or Shamar Elkins? Kendrick said only 2 of the kids had his last name. Yeah, but like I said, they were a blended family. Zavon said 1 was a nephew. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a couple articles. Then I'm going to pull up some screenshots that I gathered. And because it's just that when you think about what happened with this guy, and when you look at what I show you in the screenshots, it's like, how in the world did it go from this to that, like in the blink of an eye? So let me go ahead and share this screen right here. That's coming from 13 News. Is saying, who is Shamar Elkins, Louisiana father accused of killing 8 children? It says police have identified the man accused of shooting and killing 8 children, 7 of them his own, in a Shreveport, Louisiana neighborhood on Sunday, and one of the nation's deadliest mass shooting in recent years. Louisiana State Police said the suspect was pronounced dead following a pursuit initiated at the request of the Shreveport Police Department. Authorities added they are investigating whether the death resulted from a self-inflicted gunshot wound or from gunfire by officers. And it says this morning, shortly after 7 a.m., detectives with the Louisiana State Police Bureau of Investigations were requested by the Shreveport Police Department to investigate an officer-involved shooting following a pursuit in Sebastian County. city in Brompton Lane. Authorities identified the shooter as 31-year-old Shamar Elkins. The U.S. Army told CBS News that Elkins pleaded guilty to a weapons charge in 2019, so this is new development, and served in the Louisiana National Guard from 2013 to 2020 as a signal support system specialist and fire support specialist. The parish coroner's office said the victims were 5 girls and 3 boys, ranging in age from 3 to 11, and their names was Jayla Elkins, Shayla Elkins, Kayla Pugh, Layla Pugh, Marcaden Pugh, Soraya Snow, Kadarian Snow, and Braylon Snow. 7 were siblings, and 1 was Elkins' nephew. Is a Shreveport police spokesperson, Chris Borderland, said 10 people were struck by gunfire. 2 adult women were hospitalized with serious injuries and are expected to survive, and said 1 is Elkins' wife. A relative told the Associated Press the 2 women are the mothers of his children and that the couple had been arguing about a separation prior to the shooting. So let me correct myself right now before I go forward. All the kids were his except the nephew. But these were kids that he had with 2 different women. But he was married to, of course, to one of them. And the one other kid was a nephew. Man, that's crazy. Could you imagine finding out that your brother or brother-in-law, because I'm not sure if a sibling of his was the parent of the child that made him the nephew, or if his wife was related to the one that would still make him a nephew by marriage. Either way, I would lose my mind. Either way. Then they gave the timeline. We're not going to go over the timeline because we already went over that. But yeah, that's crazy. So this article really just gives the name of the kids because we pretty much learned everything else in the video. Yeah, he does look crazy. He does look very wicked, and he pulled a very wicked act. I was going to go over the other article, but I think that's pointless to actually go over, considering that is a rehashing of the one that I just did. But I wanted y'all to see some of these screenshots that I did find, which I found to be very interesting. Kendra said he gunned down his wife's sister's son. Okay. But I want y'all to see this right quick. Let me put it over here. Look at this right here. It says Elkins had posted about mental health issues earlier this month. So I'm assuming this is early April. And he said, "Dear God, today I ask you to help me guard my mind and my emotions." He said in one post on April 9th, "When depression tries to settle in, when anger rises, when anxiety or panic comes, give me the awareness to recognize what is not from you and the strength to reject it immediately in the name of Jesus," he said in another post. So that's what he said on April the 9th, which was actually approximately 2 weeks ago, because that was 2 Thursdays ago when he said it. That's what he said on social media. Now, they said a post, but I don't know where on social media he posted this at. But he was basically giving people warning signs 2 weeks ago about his mental state. But here's another post right here that I thought was also interesting too. Look at this. One-on-one date with daughter, depression, troubled marriage, 5 things about Louisiana shooting suspect Shamar Elkins. So apparently he was very involved as a father. It's not like he was a bad father. Like, no one's saying anything or accusing him of being a bad dad. But this part right here where it says one-on-one date with daughter, so it's probably just like one of those daddy-daughter type of things, which is, common. But it's just like, how did you go from that to that in the blink of an eye? Like, that is insane. And shout out to everyone that just came into the chat. And if y'all just came into the chat, I'm gonna reiterate it. I most likely won't drop the link tonight because it's one of those heavier topics. I don't really like to do that when it's like topics like these, especially for obvious reasons. Like I said, so when the live ends, y'all can just converse about it in the chat. But this is sad. This is extremely sad That's why I pulled up that other screenshot and asked mentally ill or straight up evil. Because I'm gonna tell you something right now. If Shamar Elkins was a PC man, they would have immediately said, "Oh, mentally ill." You already know. You already know the usual suspects would have came with that mentally ill talk. Intelligent thoughts say you can't predict mental health failures. They occur at times that are very sporadic. You're very true. Now, what people are going to ask is if he did indeed have these mental health issues, like is put out there allegedly, what diagnosis did he have? Because you just can't blanketly say, "Oh, he had mental health issues," because that's very vague. There's a lot of mental health issues, but which one exactly? Just like when it came to the DeCarlo Brown's guy in North Carolina, we didn't just say he had mental health issues. They actually say he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Noam King says mental health is something that is completely ignored in America. I'm gonna remix that a little bit, Noam King. Mental health is something that's completely ignored, unfortunately, amongst us. Let me say that again. Mental health is something that a lot of times is ignored amongst Black people. Because at one point in time, to say that a Black person was mentally insane or something like that, it was always seen as a white person's thing. It was just no way that a Black person could be mentally ill. It was mainly a thing, a more of a systemic thing of saying, "Oh, they're not mentally ill. They know exactly what they're doing. Lock them up." And unfortunately, some of us ended up adopting that narrative, and it's carried on and it's spilled over. And also another thing is especially when it comes to a Black man in particular, it's no way that he could be mentally ill. He had to have known what he was doing. So it could be a thing. He could have had mental issues for all we know, especially when you think about this part right here. When he says, "Dear God, today I ask you to help me guard my mind and my emotions. When depression tries to settle in, when anger rises, when anxiety or panic comes, give me the awareness to recognize what is not from you and the strength to reject it immediately in the name of Jesus." He's basically telling people he's about to pop off. He's about to crash out, but he's going on social media and asking God to help him pull him back from the ledge before he takes the leap. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like God answered his call, and we see what the result of that was. Because it's obvious he wasn't going to therapy. He wasn't talking to anybody about his problems. He held all of that in, and then on top of that, like I said, he was going through a divorce. So he had to find an avenue of what to do and who to take it out on. The unfortunate part is that he took it out on 8 innocent kids who had nothing to do with what happened. But you know what it is? Every time he looked at those kids and he thought about his wife, it was a reminder. So to get rid of that reminder, he had to get rid of those kids. He tried to get rid of her. You know what this also reminds me of? This reminds me of John Allen Muhammad. Because if y'all know the story, you know, with the DC sniper, his main goal or objective behind everything that he did was to get back at his wife, because in his mind, his wife kidnapped their kids away from him. But in reality, the guy was out of his mind. He was basically abusive, and she got away from him and took the kids and went and basically went across the country to get away from him. And he followed her. He stopped along the way, picked up Lee Boy Malvo, and they committed the crimes in which they did, all to get back at her because his main objective was to take her out. But since he couldn't get to her, he brainwashed this kid and had him take out a whole bunch of innocent people. For what? He said he was like, no, John Allen Muhammad has been dead for years. They executed him years ago. They executed him when I was in college. And I was in college from 07 to 2011. He's been dead for years now, not days. I don't know if this is a troll or not, but that picture is very weird. You said, so FBAs get a pass for deleting their family? No, they do not. What gave you that idea? This is exactly why. You see that comment right there? That's exactly why I'm not dropping the link tonight. Who said anything about giving this man a pass? Did I say that we should forgive him for what he did?
No.
Oh, sure didn't.
But that right there is why the link is not dropping tonight. Because I already know trolls will probably come up here with a bunch of nonsense. Not my regulars, but people like that will come up there and try to start some mess.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about a very serious topic of a massacre that happened that unfortunately took out, 8 kids and almost a couple of other people, while also talking about how mental health is not talked about enough in the community.
Here you go, baby.
I know it's a troll. Never seen them before, but they want to pop up and leave that. Now, at the end of the day, someone said 2 things can be true. One hand, he could have been mentally ill. We don't know with what, but he possibly could have. On the other hand, he did commit a very evil act. Because what did the kids have to do with this?
Right.
The kids were completely innocent. Whatever issue you had with your wife was between you and your wife. The kids should have been left out of it.
Right. Kids are innocent.
You did not have to pick up that gun and slaughter those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Ages 3 to 11. Life has not even gotten to them yet. Appreciate it, Wallow. And this is a picture with him and all the kids. Of course, they blurred the image out, because they were minors. And I want to think that this was them on Easter. So this was a very recent picture. A lot of the images that they have with him and their kids are fairly recent. I appreciate your comment. But yeah, like I said, that is something that has to be addressed. That's why a lot of the times when I do my videos on Patreon that are too crazy, like too wild to put on YouTube, some of those videos that do involve Black people, it's some wild stuff. But too many times it gets overlooked. I'm actually glad that this is one of those stories that wasn't treated as an isolated incident. And another reason we're going to be talking about this too is because you have way too many people, some in and outside of the community, that will sit up there and say, we don't call out this type of behavior. They will think that we just brush this under the rug.
Yes, we do.
Right. Or if they feel like we don't talk about it ad nauseum, we don't care about it at all. I saw some troll comments on Threads talking about where's BLM at? Why would BLM be there? Why is it every time an incident happens where it involves Black people in proximity crime, because that's what it is, you want to say where's BLM at? Where's ALM at All Lives Matter when there's a mass shooting at a school that involves a PC kid and a majority of PC kids?
Exactly.
The fact of the matter is the people that say that don't care about the story itself. But either way, it was a tragedy. No matter how you spin it, whether the guy had some kind of mental health defect or what he did was intentional or what have you, the fact of the matter is there are 8 innocent lives that'll never see adulthood. They'll never get the chance to experience relationships. They'll never have to be able to have kids of their own and start a family. They won't see their friends anymore. Their friends won't see them when they go to school. Imagine the last time you saw your friend at school and you say, I'll see you tomorrow. And then you turn on the news and you find out your friend not only is dead, but their father killed them. And for what? A domestic issue between you and your wife because of a pending divorce. You got to understand the psychological and mental damage that does to a child at that age. Thank God I never had to go through something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else in the chat ever had to deal with that. But either way, it's messed up. And I'm sure there's going to be some more stuff that's going to come out about the story. I hope it doesn't get buried. I don't know how many people I have who follow me who live in the state of Louisiana can help me keep up with this, because this did happen in your state. It happened in Shreveport in particular. Miss Easy, you have, well, I offer my condolences. Now, I'm not talking about dealing with a divorce. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to say LM. I'm not talking about dealing with a divorce. I'm talking about dealing with the loss of a friend at a very young age. And I'm saying in particular with these kids, because like I said, imagine that all these kids had friends, because they're all school age, preschool, school age. Imagine you have friends and you tell them one day, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And then you look on the news and they're dead. That will damage you. And then you got to go to school the next day. And then you got to have like maybe some kind of an assembly. They might have some kind of a vigil or something along the lines, or they may not even allow them to go to school the next day. But either way, this is a very, 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 very sad story all the way around, because it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. I always say when it comes to familicide, those type of situations could be avoided if they are tackled before it gets to the boiling point. And based on the stuff that he was putting out there, it sounds to me like this man, this Shamar Elkins, was dealing with quite a bit. And like Noam King just said, he was beyond the point of being saved. He had already made up his mind, and he already made up in his mind what he was going to do. And he did it with no hesitation. I mean, you got to think about it. This dude took out all of the kids. That means his whole lineage is gone just like that. Yeah, it kind of reminds you of Chris Benoit. 8 kids. One of them a nephew. I can imagine what them services are going to look like down there. Yeah, they said he was chasing after the ones that survived. Like he was going, like he didn't want any survivors. None. And like I said, even if he was messed up in the head, what is the saying? Dead men don't talk. So not only can he not talk, but he can't get evaluated. Me neither, Miss Nisi. That's why I didn't drop the link tonight. I'm just getting out how I feel about the situation as a solo act tonight. You know, any other time I would, but this is one of those topics where I have to just say, I just have to say what I have to say on my own with no interruption. Because when I first heard about this, I was so shocked. I was shocked. And, you know, me talking about the stuff that I do all the time, I'm usually never shocked about a lot of stuff that I hear because a lot of it can be repetitive. But there's always that one in like 100 that'll happen that'll stop you dead in your tracks. And this was that one. This is not something you typically wake up to hearing, and literally waking up, because this happened early in the morning. Understand this. When they were going through the timeline, this was going on in the 6 o'clock hour. That means these kids were either just starting to wake up or they were still asleep, which means if they were just waking up or still asleep, they had no major reaction time to what was going on. Shout out to Savion for being a member for 29 months. He says PC may not care about their lineage, but we care about ours, especially in these circumstances. Exactly. Especially these kids. But like I said, wee hours of the morning, they had no time to react to this. I wonder what the neighbors were feeling like when they heard all of this going on, because I doubt this man used a silencer. Yeah, Kendrick, I don't know if you didn't hear the timeline in the beginning of this live, but this was going on in the morning. I'm talking about before the sun was starting to crack through the clouds, through the sky. It's messed up. It is so messed up. You know how when we were younger, when we were kids, and we would always say it's not fair, and then our parents would come back and say life's not fair, and we used to hate when they said that. As an adult, I completely understand what they mean when they say that. When you say life is not fair, because if life was fair, those kids would still be alive. Zavon said them children probably didn't understand. They most likely didn't understand what was going on. I wouldn't be surprised if he woke them up and made them just kind of stand there, and they still didn't know what was going on. Shout out to DeMarcus for the 10. He said, happy early birthday. I appreciate it, even though my birthday isn't for another 2 weeks, but I do appreciate it. Devastating for you, so he might have been up the whole night. He probably was. I would not be surprised if he planned this. You cannot, I don't think this was random. I don't think he just went and got his gun and said, oh, I'm gonna go take out my kids. He probably had this plan. That's why I said when I see this, that was him telling you ahead of time what he was getting ready to do. He said, guard my mind and my emotions. Depression tries to settle in when anger rises. On April the 9th, he told you how he was feeling. This was him letting his feelings out. This was him confessing. He was telling people then, and people probably didn't pay attention to it. If people was literally in his corner, like if he had family like that, they would have reached out to him when they saw this. Or maybe he was already at that point when he wrote it, but he figured maybe there's a chance I could be saved. Kendra says some men unallow their kids to avoid paying child support. Well, to me, it sounds like he was definitely in his kid's life because there was never any mention of child support. So he was definitely in his kid's lives because he was married, to this woman. It's just that they were in the midst of getting a divorce. So it's probably a lot of things going on, but the only person now that can speak is his wife and the other person, because they are now the key witnesses. Everyone else is dead. He's dead, and so are the kids. But anyway, y'all, I think I've said all I needed to say as it pertains to this story right here. Like I said, I'm not dropping the link tonight because of obvious reasons. but I'll let y'all discuss it in the chat, well, not in the chat, but in the comments, when this is done. The next live, and I told y'all in my shorts video yesterday, my next live will be on Saturday at 6 p.m. That's going to be the live Michael biopic recap at 6 p.m. I will have a guest on. I already locked the guest in. They said that they will be available. All I have to do is email them the link and they will be up. So that is what we will be doing on Saturday. And that'll be a little bit more lighter, much like how it was when we did the game night on Tuesday. But with that being said, and also shout out to Savion for being a member for 29 months and DeMarcus for the $10 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. With that being said, we're about to get up out of here. Y'all take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and most importantly, be one.
Hello, family. So we have the story of Alex Babir, a MAGA Christian missionary who came to Nigeria earlier this year, and he has been advocating against the unaliving of Christians in Nigeria. Let's watch some of the videos.
Are you ready to be held accountable if indeed your comments, your actions, and inactions are found to have incited people to violence?
Which laws have been broken, can I ask? Which incitement to violence has been done? I appreciate the prior remarks and context regarding different issues in Nigeria. I would say that it's despicable to try to compare me to anything in Rwanda. I've never once called for anybody to be murdered. I have called for people to be protected. The things that I have said, I would say that I would ask people to show me and tell me specifically what rhetoric and what words are causing anything. Because for me, I've called that, yes, innocent people should be defending themselves. In America, we can do this.
Oh, shit, I skipped. Okay. All right, Lady Shay, what is your closing statement on the way out? Lady Shay.
Are we done?
Yes. What are your thoughts on the way out?
About what? Which part?
About the dude that killed the kids.
That was a tragedy. I got a lot more to say about it on the RBA. That was just, it's a lot. It's a tragedy, honestly. And nobody knows really what was going on in that man's head when he did that. But I do know that it's how you take children, the lives of children. Man, that's really a hard fucking thing. It really bothers my soul. So.
Right, I concur. So
It really bothers my soul. The Michael Jackson thing, I don't know, cuz we're gonna watch it when I see you. So I'll find a way. So we'll watch it when I see you. We can develop our own opinion. I can't really go off of what other people have already seen or said because I'm like a movie connoisseur and a fucking Michael Jackson fan. Yes, all day over here. So motherfucker know the history of Michael Jackson. Ask a bitch, she'll tell you.
Right.
I've been motherfucking fan of Michael Jackson since my ears could hear him. I was just thinking to Jesse the other day. Oh fucking Jackson 5 song.
Yep.
And I was toiling in his hair. So yeah, if anybody knows about the Jacksons, Jackson 5, and when our sister Janet made her little statement about Kamala, I was like, Roland Martin was talking shit about Janet Jackson, and I was like, not my Janet.
With Janet.
Not Miss Jackson if you nasty. Not Miss Velvet Rope. Not Control. Not Janet.
Right.
So yeah, if anybody's been a fan of the Jacksons, yeah, you'll be right here in this house. And my brother too, you know what I mean? So we're all about it. I had a poster covering up my walls and everything. And not to mention, I think we got 2 albums on vinyl, at least 2 or 3 albums on vinyl, in the basement of my father's house. So yeah, motherfucker knows about some Michael Jackson's, and watched pretty much every Michael Jackson documentary, and even all his trials and tribulations when they had embarrassed him and lied on him and shit up until the day he passed away. And they was pulling him out of his house. Yeah, I was pretty much there for it all. Yeah, so we'll watch it when you get over here, baby.
All right, that wasn't even a topic, but okay. Let's wrap this up. Thank y'all for tuning in to season 11, episode 33, or Trey or Grand Rising with Shabaka and the Chase, in conjunction with the Front Line Blacc News. Join us tomorrow for a brand new episode of the Front Line Blacc News, season 6, episode 23, part 1. So we'll see y'all then. In the meantime, make sure y'all like and subscribe to all of our platforms. Frontline Blacc News on YouTube and Facebook, The Revolutionary Agenda on YouTube and Facebook, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Facebook and Twitter. And shout out to everybody that tapped in with us. Shout out to Jonathan Hoover. Shout out to Val Hawkins. Shout out to Mac 285. Shout out to Shabaka. Shout out to DSB. Shout out to MD20. And shout out to Twin in Time. I think that's everybody. Yeah. So we'll see y'all tomorrow for Frontline Blacc News. Peace.